Oh, yeah. Welcome in, Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Thursday. Short week this week. Short weeks to me always feel a little bit longer. It makes zero sense. I don't know why, but it doesn't feel like we've only been here 3 days. But we are happy to be here. I would say we've got a lot to talk about today, and I would be lying through my teeth. If I said that, I would be a stone-cold liar. Bald-faced liar. I wonder where that came from. You're a bald-faced liar, Woodsy. I don't know. Maybe somebody can dig into it.
My guess would be, like, if you have a big beard, you can probably hide your
poker face,
your live face a little bit better. But when you're bald-faced,
you're a bald-faced liar.
It's very easy to see that you're.
All right, here we go.
That hit.
Not telling the truth.
Hey, by the way, that hits a little bit more than you're such a liar. You're a bald-faced liar.
Just Google's AI quick answer says the phrase bald-faced lie originates from the idea of a bare-faced lie, meaning a lie told without shame or concealment. Bald in this context referring to a lack of disguise or brazen attitude.
You're not even trying to hide the fact that you're lying.
Bald-faced has been used in this sense.
It's bald, right? Not ball?
Bald.
Bald. You're a bald-faced liar.
Has been used in this sense since the mid-17th century.
Ooh.
Quite a while.
That's a long time to be a bald-faced liar. And that's what I would be if I said, man, we are jammed to the gills with content today. I would be lying to you, and I don't want to lie to you. But I often find we thrive on days like this. Look, man, we are knocking on the door of baseball, and that makes me very, very happy. But we got to get through it. We're still plowing ahead. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the bald-faced Reindl.
I mean,
I'm the only one who's
totally
really bald-faced.
You are bald-faced. Now, actually, look, we have a bald-faced Ben Higgins joining us now. You shave, twice a week, 3 times a week?
Every day.
You shave every day.
Well,
when you get off of work?
every TV work day. Before I go to work, right around 2:00.
Okay.
I will get out of the shower, and then I will shave with a safety razor. I don't use the electric razor.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like a real
Gillette or whatever I have.
Do you use the cheapo blue ones that my dad used to use, or do you use like a good solid five-blade? Five-blader.
I've got a good solid razor.
How many blades on you?
I think it's like a 4 blade razor.
You don't cut yourself like ever. I never see you with a little nick. And when I used to have to shave for work, when I was a suit and tie guy, I'd walk in every day with the toilet paper here, the toilet paper up here, toilet paper on this side.
I used to use a razor. I've never cut my face.
Really?
Right, so I hate the look of the little dot of toilet paper.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't cut myself very often, but occasionally I do because, Frugal Ben probably doesn't change his blade out as often as he should.
I'd do anything to see what that rusty old turd looks
clean
like.
It off. I clean it off. I try to keep it in good shape, dry it, just so it lasts as long as possible.
Puberty.
No, I do change them out, but I probably try to stretch them a little longer. So every once in a while, with my moly face, you'll
cut a mole.
I will get a little nick, but I really don't like doing the hanging piece of toilet paper.
It's terrible.
So I'll stick a little like Aquaphor just to seal it.
To cover it.
Yeah, there'll be maybe a little shiny spot, but that doesn't happen very often.
It really doesn't.
I'm pretty careful. I don't want to cut myself, so I tend to
do it
pretty
take it with
take
care.
my time. Yeah, usually you cut yourself when you're in a hurry.
It's like how you make love. Yeah. You take your time with care. You don't rush through it. Right? You really put in the work on your face. That's my guess. You're not saying anything.
Diesel says you shave before or after showering. After, of course.
After.
That loosens up your face a little bit. The heat, the steam is good for the shave. When you do it before...
Oh, see, I do it before because I just use the clippers to like...
Oh, you use clippers.
Okay,
well, yeah.
And so I do that so that it's not all soft and the hair won't
cut.
Won't rip out.
All right, so the opposite. I think with the electric one, maybe it's better when it's dry. But
yes.
Because I put the shaving cream on.
Some people say they shave in the shower, and it really requires a fogless mirror. Which, by the way, those don't work.
Well.
That's a bit.
I used to have one.
Yeah, it's
for like one day,
and they're not big enough. No. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't shave ever. I actually told my wife the other day. I said, I'd like to shave my face, just give it a good clean start. She said, absolutely not. She said, no one has ever looked like she's like, you're a pervert by nature, but when you shave your face, they won't let you around kids. Like, you don't look like you belong coaching children. And I was like, are you kidding? It's just a little. It's not like I have a huge burly beard ever. It's usually about this length.
You're not Dylan Cease.
Right, I'm not Dylan Thief, right? I look.
Dylan Thief.
This is just kind of the look. And she said, no, you cannot shave your beard.
What
at
does
all.
that say about me?
Well, I think he just told you.
Weirdo creep, I think. I mean, if that, oh my God, Kurt, come on, dude. Kurt just said, you may think I'm a psycho, but I dry shave. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I won't always put shaving cream on if I have
What?
If I've just gotten out of the shower and my face feels pretty decent and I've shaved, in the last 24 hours, I may just give it a dry, just quick scrape.
Don't you need like the cream and the lanolin?
Not every
and like
time.
My God. Well, you don't get a real thick beard.
No, that's right. That's the only time. I mean, it's been a couple of days, obviously, you need a little cream to push up the whiskers a little bit, but
I've never heard of anybody dry shaving.
Yeah.
Like that, not dry, Kurt. You put water on your face, right? You don't walk up to your regular face and go,
yeah, at least, I mean, if I do that, at least I'll have the hot water running, and I'll have at least a little warmth on the razor.
That is really, really something. Amanda says it must be a July 19th thing, Woodsy. That's my birthday as well. Anytime I shave, my baby face used to be the best, but now I think it scares everyone, including babies, and I can't even grow a beard. Yeah, this is our own special purgatory, Mando, that we are in for being born on July 19th. My beard isn't good. It's not cool. Doesn't look good. And I look like a pervert when I shave my face. So I'm really, one of my many things that bothers me, like my self-confidence, is that whole scene.
Well, they asked Padres players yesterday, their question of the day was whether or not Dylan Cease should keep his new, long beard.
It's weird. It looks weird on him.
And if you didn't see it, Dylan, first of all, said, well, I'm going to do the opposite of what everybody says. And then just about everybody said he should keep it. They were pretty unanimous, other than Jackson Merrill, who was militantly anti-beard.
Yeah.
Everyone else said he should probably keep it.
Again, as I mentioned yesterday when we were talking to somebody about it, I think it was Sammy Levitt. I said,
that is gnarly.
I said, if your buddy shows up and you haven't seen him in a while, and these guys weren't hanging out all off season together, so he walks in the clubhouse day one and he has this new look. There is a tinge of concern for him. You go, what's going on? Are you okay?
How did you do on Survivor?
That or like,
just got back from,
or like, are you depressed a little bit? Do you have a little? Is it like little? Do you have a little bit of depression? Because anytime my beard, and mine can't get that thick and burly, but when I do let it go really long for me, it kind of means I'm not doing that well upstairs.
Because you just don't have the energy
Correct.
or will to
you
shave it and do anything about it.
And you've never I have mild to moderate depression, right? And anxiety, mild to moderate. I've never needed medication or anything like that. Therapy always works for me. Breathing, things work for me. How you know that I'm not in a good headspace is if I come in and I look like that. It means I can't even stand the sight of myself in the mirror, and it means I don't have the energy to take my electric clippers and just... It takes all of 30 seconds.
Where are you at today, then?
I feel great.
Okay.
Today I feel great. The other way to do it, if I don't take my vitamins. If my vitamins sit unchecked,
that's a sign.
That's a sign. He's off the deep end right now. Like he's not coming back. Let's just say this. The vitamins have been getting crushed every single night. The routine is better than it's ever been. The trainer is going great. He kicked my ass yesterday. Feeling very, very good and strong right now. But if I walk in looking like Dylan, I need you guys to pull me aside. And I think somebody might need to pull Dylan aside. There's a sadness about it.
He sounds just very mentally healthy.
Here's the other thing that pisses me off about it. You ever see anybody look cooler with the mustache that he had? I sure haven't. I get DMs from women. Hey, do you know Dylan Cease? Can you hook me up?
Literally does.
I literally did. That's a true story. I sent it to the fellas. Do you know Dylan Cease? Can you? I go, I know him. I mean, I've met him, but I don't know him well enough to get you laid by him. You know what I mean? I don't know him well enough to be like, hey, bro, This one, you may want to call her. Like, she's, by the way, she's a 10. She is a straight up 10. So is it now my duty at spring training to pull him aside and go, by the way? Or is it not? Do I just ignore it?
He's a baseball player. You can let him fend for himself.
He'll be fine.
I think so, too. I do. There's something about, like, I legit think he'll be okay. Whatever he wants. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it pisses me off because, my super handsome face and badass Doc Holliday mustache is enough. Let me try something new. Oh, I also throw 98 miles an hour.
Okay, I'll agree with you there.
Come on, dude.
If I ever found a look
If
that
I found
everyone
a look,
said,
yes.
man, you look
Bro,
really sharp that way,
I
would
never,
literally
never.
keep that look for the next 40 years without changing it. Like someone
God.
like this look, so I am not even thinking
Man,
about changing it.
I swear to God, if I could find, like,
hair length, everything is staying exactly the same forever.
if you found, I've been searching for my look for 40 years. I mean, since I was 10 years old. Like, what do I want to be? What do I want to look like? And, you know, you get a little facial hair and I can't grow I can grow a mustache. It's disgusting. I don't look cool like he does. I don't have, look at his hair even. It's like flowing and.
Finally, the beard. A little bit of a different look for you. What was the inspiration behind the beard?
No inspiration. Just let it keep going. And then I woke
Ayahuasca.
up and I was like, man, we've taken this far. How far can we take it? So
He's that guy.
I don't know how long it's going to stay or go, but
Maybe that's why the ladies want to
getting
meet
a lot
him.
of attention, which maybe will make me shave it.
Gonna
We'll
get
see.
dreamy eyes too.
He's
Have possibility of, like, a
he's
beard down to here, maybe,
ridiculously
this year?
handsome.
It's possible. I don't know if I can get it
Get a nice
that far
voice.
in a year. I could
He's
probably
an artist.
get
Like,
it.
he's
I'd probably
great.
go with size though by the end of the season.
I'm not getting him
we'll see. We'll
girls,
see
dude.
what
I'm
the,
sorry. I
we'll see
can't.
whatever.
It's actually unfair. Like,
He really has everything. He's rich. He's
Yeah.
athletic,
handsome.
handsome,
Baseball
artistic,
player.
got a nice voice. Seems like a nice
Sucks, dude.
person. I mean, yeah, all right. And you said we had nothing to talk about, and we just got 10, 12 minutes right there.
Adam
on
Hair.
shaving
11 more
habits.
segments on Dylan Cease's beard.
Adam hair. I mean, we just talk about hair all day. Hair removal. How much is too much? How much is not enough?
It's the hair episode.
Yeah, listen, man. Hey, wanted to tell you guys real quick. Still fired up about what they're doing over at Sedano Ford right now. You guys know our backstory in the Woods family with Ford. We are big fans of the Blue Oval. My good friend Manny Sedano at Sedano Ford is celebrating our great country's leaders with red, white, and blue deals. Show some patriotism, salute savings on vehicles like the all-American Ford F-150 Lightning XLT, just $129 a month. You can feel the freedom of the open road in the Ford Explorer Active, just $349 a month. Your inner adventure could be exploited by the Ford Bronco Sport Big Ben, just $239 a month. And, of course, the Mustang Mach-E Select is just $129 a month. Great, great deals. Head on over to Sedano Ford. Honor a local veteran in Manny Sedano and a dealer you can trust. Let them know when you walk in. Hey, what brought you in today? Woodsy did. Woodsy told me to come by. My friends at Sedano Ford, they're going to find a way to work with you. It's the American way, the Manny Sedano way. They want you in a Ford. Spread some good old American pride and savings this President's Day month at SedanoFord.com. Hurry on over to Sedano Ford in La Mesa or SedanoFord.com before these red, white, and blue savings disappear. For more details about all of these offers, again, go to SedanoFord.com. theory about the Dylan Cease beard. Kevin Jervis says maybe he was trying to convince teams that he's lost his mind, so they won't trade for him. Maybe he really wants to stay, and so he's like, I'm going to look like I've gone off the deep end a little bit with this thing, and because he was very groomed. He was very groomed last year, and he has that brilliant mustache. Looks so cool every time he towed the rubber. And,
it's funny how two very dramatically different looks for him, clean shaven with the mustache or just the big bushy beard. Mm-hmm. Still, either way, looks like a bartender in North Park.
He does. He does.
Yeah. Either way.
Or, I mean, and still, pretty damn handsome either way. It must be nice to be like, hey, I'm going to glue a turd to my forehead. Look how handsome I am. Must be nice.
It's like Hollywood actors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glenn Powell could just not shave for a year and people would still be like, look at this guy.
In any role. I got long, stringy hair in this one. Yeah, you still look great. Oh, you're bald in this one. No, you still look cool. I mean, there's just something about it.
I mean, if having too long of a beard turned teams off, then you'd have entire rosters depleted.
Oh, yeah. The Phillies would not exist. There'd be no one there. No one would play for the Phillies because they're disgusting, most of them.
I mean, there is a ton of baseball players who just go full beard during the season. Justin Turner comes to mind as one of them, but there are many.
I really like the playoff beards that they do in hockey. And, obviously some really big hockey tonight. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun one to watch. But I think that's just a cool thing. Like, we're all going to grow beards for the playoffs. And a hockey player told me one time they do it because it is irritating. And they want to be irritated. They want to be, they go the whole season without one, a lot of them. And then the playoffs come, all right, we're not shaving our beard. And it's not necessarily always let's just do it in solidarity with each other and do it for good luck, and you don't want to shave and we'll start losing. No, they want to be pissed off because after you grow a beard for a few days, you're like, it's kind of bugging me. It's bugging me. And they want to be bugged. They want to be irritated so they can go out and beat the crap out of guys.
But what if at the wrong moment, like the puck's coming to them and all of a sudden it's like, I got to itch my face?
No, I don't think I think you forget about it when the game starts. Okay. Yeah.
Just outside of the game, you want to be irritated all the time?
You just want to be irritated.
That doesn't seem like peak performance type behavior.
It makes sense in my head. It makes sense in my head. You want to be feeling a little bit pissed off, and I think that will do it.
All right, we actually may talk a little bit of hockey today.
Yes, sir.
Because of the Four Nations final that's coming up tonight. A lot of people have all of a sudden become intrigued by a sport that hasn't gotten a lot of attention recently. But
I feel confident in saying if it was just a regular NHL All-Star game, we probably wouldn't be doing any segments on it.
Right.
This has been a clear win for the National Hockey League.
Beyond.
Now, do they capitalize on it, or will ratings go up for regular season hockey games when more people watch the playoffs? I've got no idea, but for this week, it's a big win for the NHL, a sport and a league that probably is in need of a win here or there. And a lot of people are going to be tuning in tonight for USA Canada in the final, and that's being played in Boston, right? So yes. I imagine the atmosphere will be somewhat electric for that game.
Insane. Yeah, and as it pertains to the regular season, I don't know, but I can say with certainty, I think the playoffs will probably get some more eyeballs than it normally does. I think these two of them right here, being two of them, I think I would be way more interested if some of these guys are in there, some of these guys that we've been watching. I think that'd be pretty solid.
I think one question that needs to be asked, though, are you interested for the hockey, or are you interested because you think there's going to be a lot of fighting?
Both. I mean, I love the game of lacrosse, but I also love when it gets really chippy. It's my favorite type of games, and I expect to have one at Pechanga Arena on Saturday night when the Bandits come to town, Benny. I fully expect it to get chippy. So I look forward to the beauty of the game, the athleticism and all of it, but I also look forward to guys not liking each other and hopefully coming to fisticuffs.
I think expectations are a big topic for San Diego FC, our new team in town. I'm going to talk a little bit about SDFC, not necessarily the big-time details of what kind of offense they're going to run. We're not versed enough yet to conduct that level of conversation about our new team, but I'm curious if the tier ones are ready to jump in with. Yeah. I mean, we've got a major league sports team starting in San Diego. The last time a major league sports team started in San Diego at this level. I think it was the Clippers in 1978 is the last time that we had a major league level team begin play in this town.
Well, hopefully it goes better than that.
Hopefully it does go better than that, and it's coming up this weekend.
Hopefully we'll be able to watch it.
Yeah, that's something that we want to talk about as well.
Yeah, we're newbies to kind of this, and we're trying to learn and educate ourselves and hopefully educate the audience, and maybe the audience can educate us a little bit.
Well, it's the thing I like the most about our program is that we don't have the answers. We actually look to you guys for more answers than we give you. It's a little bit different. Usually you tune into a radio show, maybe a sports radio show, Ben, where the hosts will tell you what you need to do to watch the game. In this case, we need you guys to tell us the best way to be able to view these games this season and what to look for. It's a little bit different.
All right, we'll talk about that coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. But, of course, lots of Padres talk as spring training continues. Tomorrow is the first Cactus League game right here on 97.3 The Fan. You can listen to it at noon. Padres and Seattle Mariners with Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn on the call. Yesterday we heard that Ryan Bergert will be getting the first start. Don't read too much into that, but Mike Schilt was happy to announce that yesterday. But have the Padres continued to look into more starting pitching? A rumor that we actually didn't get a chance to talk about yesterday that came out yesterday was that the Padres are still in the market potentially for another starting pitcher. So I want to get to that coming up. We'll hear from Sam Levitt. Spring Training Sammy will join us later in the program after he talks to players and manager Mike Schilt, probably right around 9 o'clock like he was yesterday from the Peoria Sports Complex. And we'll have our regular features on a Thursday. Don't do this. We got Real or Fake on a Throwback Thursday. Paulie says he's got a good throwback clip. I don't think it's one that I particularly enjoy.
Oh, that's weird.
But he seems very happy about it, so we'll have a Throwback Thursday clip for you in our, I think, 8 o'clock hour as well. So stay tuned for all of that coming up. But when we come back, who is the pitcher linked to the San Diego Padres just days after signing Nick Pivetta? Could another established starter be joining the rotation? We've got that coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466.
First, though, Woods, 7 Mile Casino. As we get closer to the weekend, it is Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, great times to go out to 7 Mile Casino. Every day's open. Every day's great. I like the weekends, though. They've got the weekend brunch at Sammy's at 7 Mile that is best in South County. It was voted tops from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. So you go down for brunch and then stick around and sit down at one of the fantastic card tables.
Yeah, play some California-style blackjack. If you've got the time, play some Texas Hold'em, some Pai Gow, some Baccarat as well. We love 7 Mile Casino. They've been so good to us over the years. Do us a favor, head on down yourself, have some fun, have some great food. You're not going to be disappointed when you walk in the door. Smoke-free environment, no slot machines. Place for card players. Place for players like you.
The patio is epic. The weather looks pretty darn good over the next few days. You can enjoy lunch or just having a drink out on the patio that overlooks San Diego Bay. It's really a nice spot. Comfortable, kind of that indoor-outdoor patio thing. Fantastic. Please check it out today. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. So last week we were talking about a wide open competition for the last 2 spots in the Padres starting rotation with, some interesting options, but none that you could feel 100% great about. Matt Waldron, Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito. They added Kyle Hart, but there were a bunch of guys, some minor leaguers. Omar Cruz was a name that was thrown out. Maybe Ryan Bergert, who's getting the start in tomorrow's Cactus League opener. And then Nick Pivetta signed, and it kind of changed the whole equation. Now
ATP, huh?
now you're only looking for one starter, at least at the beginning of the season, to join the rotation. You still need the depth. The competition's still important. Seeing what you have and picking that 5th starter is something that clearly the Padres needed to do. But then yesterday, and this was late in the show, and we didn't get to it, Francis Romero, who is the same Francis Romero, by the way, who dashed our Roki Sasaki dreams when he was reporting on the fact that the Padres were going to sign international prospects, so that meant they weren't going to get Roki Sasaki, and he was right about that. He tweeted yesterday that there are still some teams that are interested in Jose Quintana, the free agent pitcher for the Mets. Had an under 4 ERA last season, better in ERA than Nick Pivetta, by the way.
Yep.
And he said teams like the Mets, Rangers, and Padres are expected to target the 13-season MLB left-hander in the coming hours, per sources. Now, that was 21 hours ago. Did not hear any signing news on Jose Quintana, but he is consensus probably the best established free agent pitcher left on the market. He was in most of the top 50 off-season best free agent lists, and seeing the Padres name included there I thought was very telling. Whether or not they get Jose Quintana or not, the fact that they seem to be talking to him and interested certainly should tell you something, Woods, right, about what the Padres are thinking for their starting rotation and about this season as a whole?
I think you get to this point in spring training and you have, your top 4 pretty secure. Any way that they want to, dole out the starts, Ben, I really don't care what order it's in. I like our top 4 guys. Those guys 1 through 4, pretty solid. So if you wanted to throw Darvish opening day, I get it. Fine. No problem. Whatever you need to do. When you get to that 5th spot, I think everybody likes to say, oh, no, we've got a real strong competition with Randy Vasquez and Matt Waldron and, some of the other names that you've already mentioned. But then you realize, well, geez, there's a guy out there that we can get, and I don't think he's going to cost a ton. That was pretty good last year. ERA under 4, as you mentioned.
31 starts, 3.75 ERA, 170 innings pitched.
Pretty damn durable, and then you look at that and you go, okay, we also need a left-handed starter because we don't have one of those. Except the guy we just got from Korea is left-handed, but I don't know how much faith you put in him. And you look at it and you go, all right, man, all this does is just slot us more depth. We just have more depth, more time to develop the Randy Vasquez's of the world, whatever. So I think it's tempting, certainly. But, my question is, the guy went 10-10 with a 3.75 for the New York Mets last year. He had pitched 170 innings for them. Why don't they want him? They need him.
Because on the numbers, like just at face value, you're like, yeah, that's pretty good for a 5th starter.
According to Francis Romero, they are one of the teams that are interested in him. I know
he's asking for too much money. The last deal he signed was 2 years, 26, so about 13. You want to roll $13 million for your 5th starter? Is that what he's looking for? Is he looking for a 1-year deal for or maybe even more? AAV? I don't know that I'd do that.
Put out 13 for your 4th starter.
Given the price for starting pitching and how effective he's been, I would imagine he's asking for a
decent amount.
A decent amount. I mean, he's older than Nick Pivetta, so he's probably not going to get 4 years, but he should still get at least the AAV, if not more, 15 to 20 maybe on AAV on a shorter deal if you're looking at Jose Quintana.
Yeah, Edgar makes a good point in the chat, too. Frankie Montas is hurt. Already for the New York Mets, so maybe that is a reunion in waiting for those two.
Here's my probably unpopular take, though, and you're right. You can always use more depth, but if you signed Jose Quintana and you did stay healthy, which is a definite if, but if you did stay healthy, you don't have any open spots in your starting rotation. You have to start Cease, Darvish, King, Pivetta, and Quintana.
Yes.
I mean, you'd be paying all of them quite a bit of money, over $10 million each. They have to be your starting pitchers.
What's the problem with that?
Yeah. You've got a problem. Tell me what it is.
Okay.
You got a problem.
I feel like you have some intriguing options. I mean, we talked about they signed Kyle Hart for a reason. Matt Waldron did a phenomenal job for you for a good 2-3 month period last year. Do I know if he's going to do that again? I don't, but he could, but only if you give him the opportunity. Randy Vasquez made 20 starts. He was looking good at the end of the season. Will he do that again? I don't know, but neither will you unless someone gets an opportunity there. I kind of want whoever pitches really well and impresses in spring training to get that chance.
Yeah, but those guys will still pitch.
Yeah, they will still
Even
pitch.
if you have 5 established starters, somebody's going down.
It's inevitable.
Just going to happen.
I mean, and obviously there's the opportunity cost as well.
Maybe they want a 6-man rotation.
If you have another 15 to 20 million to spend on this roster, I don't know that another starting pitcher is where I want it to go. I want another.
I want a bat.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to save it for the trade deadline so you can acquire something that you definitely need.
Well, how about this, man? I mean, think about this. You want to talk about the trade deadline. Let's say you get Jose Quintana and he rounds out your rotation. You get your left-handed starter in the 5th spot. Going to give you some innings, going to eat some innings. He's very durable, very reliable. Great. It's exactly what you want. But Vasquez and God, who am I missing? Vasquez, Waldron,
Hart.
Maybe not Waldron. But think about Randy Vasquez. Is he potentially a guy that, if he goes down and pitches well, is he a guy that you can move? Or do you just keep him because you've got him under control, for years, and now you have 6 decent starters?
Well, I think you could, but his value is only going to be...
That's what I'm thinking of.
His value is only going to be minimal unless he's actually pitching for you. Like, if you pitched him in the first couple months of the season and he looked decent, he would have immense value as a controllable
young
player,
who's
already kind of showing himself in the starting rotation.
But we will also need him. Well, if he's good and durable.
I mean, you're insane if you think, we got 5 starting pitchers, we're good for the year.
Yeah, you don't want to trade away.
I'm not saying they're good for the year, but there's such value in developing a couple of these young starting pitchers 100%. For you, for trade value, for everything. And you can't really you have to give them some opportunities on the big league level. And I know you keep saying, Paulie, that they are going to get chances, as Waldron and Vasquez did last year. But how many will they get? What
if it's not great? Okay,
the flip side of that coin,
the flip side of that coin, or their effectiveness. The flip side of that coin is you're developing Vasquez, who I again think can be a decent major league pitcher. I really do. And I think Johnny Brito's there's something there too. There's a few of these guys where you look and you go, I'm not quite ready to give up on them. But you also don't want, if you can get a guy that is more reliable and more durable to round out your 5th spot instead of flipping a coin, and not flipping a coin in the sense that, I've got 2 guys I got to choose from, but rolling the dice, I think, is probably a better way to put it. What if they're terrible? What if your 5th starter is a train wreck? What if it's Matt Waldron at his worst? We've seen Matt Waldron at his worst. It ain't good. What if it's Randy Vasquez at his worst? That's the other thing. So if you can get one, I say
most
you kind of know what you're getting with
you know what you're getting.
Highly mediocre, but you
could
still have a good season with a mediocre 5th starter.
You know what you're getting in Quintana. I think the familiarity for a GM and a manager. We know this, man. Are there guys down in the minors that have the nastiest, most electric stuff ever? Can't really control it? Of course. There's hundreds of those guys. And I think a GM or a manager will dream on it for a second. They'll go, if he could just lock in that control, we could have the next so-and-so. But okay, or I could go with this savvy veteran who carries himself like a professional. We know what we're getting. It's so tempting, but it's also these guys play it safe a lot.
What if Hart and Vasquez both have really good springs?
Yeah.
Again, Cadillac problems here. But you sign Quintana, though, and so you send them both down to AAA to keep working. God, you could ruin them down there. Sending them down to El Paso to throw there, and you've got Waldron and Vasquez both threw better on the big league level than they did at AAA.
They did.
I don't want to necessarily banish my best younger arms to AAA. If they're throwing well in spring training, I want a job for one of them available.
And here's the cool part is that next week we will actually grab Ruben Niebla, sit down and have a conversation with him about this. That's something I want to ask him is like, hey man, last year really doesn't. There's Mike Schilt talked about Randy Vasquez a lot when we sat down with him for a few minutes at FanFest, right? He was pretty high on him. I haven't heard much about him since. I haven't seen him throwing backfield BP or anything like that. But you ask Ruben, like, all right, man, brass tacks, right now, if you had to open the season, who's your fifth starter and why? I think he would straight up tell us, and these are the reasons why. And that's if you don't go get a guy like Jose Quintana. Again, Jose Quintana, by the way, it's not like, oh, my God, it was like when we got Martin Perez last year. I was like, all right, fun guy to watch. He's a competitor, but like it doesn't just super exciting.
What did you say his last contract was? 2 for 26?
226.
I mean, if you got him 2 for 28, opt out after 1.
It's $14 million for your fifth starter and Jose Quintana, who's 36
That's why
years
I don't
old.
want to do it.
I know. I'm kind of now
because he ain't taking less.
I don't think so either.
He's not going to be one of those $1 million guys. He's just not. He's not going to come in and do. I'll do it for $1 million. And teams
bet on myself at 36.
By the way, he's smart right now because pitchers are going down. It's going to happen.
He's going to sign somewhere. He's not going to sit until June.
It happens every spring training. And again, somebody mentioned in the chat, Frankie Montas, Mets in the rotation right now. He's already hurt. So Jose Quintana could be a smart move for them. But it seems like Steve Cohen doesn't want to spend any more money, which is a weird thing. But yeah, I don't know that we need him. If we got him, would I be stoked? Yeah, be pretty cool. But it doesn't make me nuts. I kind of tend to side with you, Benny, that let's kind of see what we have in that fifth starter spot. Still, I think by the total number of starting pitchers you have, you're still fairly deep-ish.
I think so.
You're fairly deep-ish.
Yeah, we've seen it go, sideways quickly. When 3 injuries happen,
snowball,
boom,
baby.
Boom, it can snowball. So I understand that depth is always a good thing. All right, we'll keep this on the back burner, see if there's any more smoke on the Jose Quintana rumors other than that tweet from yesterday. But I do want to talk a little bit more. We discussed the automatic ball strike challenge system yesterday. Saw it in action a little bit yesterday in Peoria. And I was just looking and reading about some maybe unintended consequences that we didn't even think about in our conversation. And we'll get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by ExtremeRoofs.com. A couple things to mention here. North downside of the 5H Street off-ramp. Collision over to the right shoulder. And friendly reminder, or not so friendly, southbound 5 at the East 8 connector remains blocked for that paint spill cleanup that's left over from yesterday. Yeah, I think there's a lot of travelers who'd love to have a conversation with the person who spilled all those paint cans across lanes. Why, fortunately, no other trouble spots around the county, guys. We are starting to see just the usual slowing in the usual spots. Oh, and keep in mind, we've got a little patchy fog around parts of the county. It should burn off pretty soon. The rain season has arrived. If your roof is leaking or you're finding asphalt shingles in the backyard or the side of your house, call family-owned Extreme Roofing, serving San Diego for over 25 years. 619-334-ROOF. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so I was, by the way, if you're not following Sam Levitt and 97.3 The Fan on social media, you're missing great content, including yesterday's throwing session for Yu Darvish, which took place, and you don't see this often in spring training, but inside the stadium in Peoria. They rarely go over there unless they're playing the games because they've got everything they need in their own 5 steps away from the clubhouse is where the bullpens are. So they don't generally go over there, but they wanted to test the new ABS challenge system that's going to be in use in spring training starting today. First spring training game is today. Dodgers, Cubs, Padres start tomorrow. So Yu Darvish went to the mound, and Sammy was there filming it and got, a batter's in there, and a curveball, on the inside corner, gets thrown. The catcher calls it a strike, and then the batter taps his helmet, and it goes to the jumbo screen and shows the actual result of the pitch. In this case, it was slightly inside for a ball, just a little bit inside. Happened very quickly, maybe 15 seconds tops, to end up overturning the call. And in that case, his team would have kept the challenge. the strike call would have been overturned and the at-bat would have continued unless it was ball 4, and then he takes first base. This is how the ABS challenge system is intended to work, and it looked like it worked. Now, Yu Darvish was asked about it. I think Yu's got his sly sense of humor, but he goes, I had 2 calls that I thought were good, and then they went against me. So I'm not a big fan of the system so far.
Yeah, it'll even out you.
I think
the way he moves the ball around.
I think he knows that too. But I thought about it, and some pitchers with movement like that, part of their game is the deception that your ball moves so much that you can fool umpires as well into calling strikes.
Catchers can do it.
It ends up right in the middle of the zone. That looked like a strike, obviously. I mean, a human being thinks that's a strike. You can't fool an electronic system. And that ball looked like a strike that you threw, but it wasn't. It actually curved right around the inside of the zone and ended up being a ball. But the unintended consequence, and our friend Craig Calcaterra wrote about it this morning, that I haven't thought about at all. So if they do go to this challenge system in 2026 as being rumored and speculated after a test run this year, when you watch games on TV, you're probably not going to be able to have the strike zone box there live anymore.
The K zone.
The K zone, for multiple reasons. First of all,
I need the K zone.
I got to have the K zone. How do I bitch at the umpire without the K zone?
I got a fever.
I got a fever.
The only prescription
is more
K
K zone.
More K zone.
We're not in the business of taking things away from fans very, very much in sports. Like if they got rid of the score bug all of a sudden, you know what? I liked how games looked in the 70s. Where you turn it on, you had no idea what inning it was.
Yeah, the announcer was hammered on Budweiser. Those were
my day.
Let's go back to those days without the
what
score
is the
bug.
Score? What inning are we in?
I looked down for a second. What's the count again?
I have no idea.
Jesus.
It's true. You turned on WGN and be like, you'd see Leon Bull Durham up at the plate, and you're like, I have no idea how many outs. I don't know if anybody's on. I don't know the score. I don't know the count. It was terrible.
And we've kind of gotten used to that strike zone box, to inform our opinions of the pitcher.
People hate it. I love it. I mean, I tried to watch. They had games without it last year for some reason. There was something.
They kind of had faded it a little more into the background.
I don't like
want
it
it there.
I need it there.
But what they said was if they go to this challenge system, they can't really have it there for a couple of reasons. First, some team like the Houston Astros is going to figure out a way to quickly look at the strike zone box and then signal to their batter to challenge or to the pitcher.
Where?
I don't. You got someone, trash can banging somewhere that quickly signals.
But you only get a couple of seconds to make the challenge.
I mean, how long did you get to signal from the batter that the pitch is going to be a fastball coming up?
So that's different, right? So the way that worked was there was the guy in that back room, and he was sitting on a live feed, so he was seeing everything happen in real time.
This would be a live feed as well.
Well, so here's the thing: they knew their signal. So if the guy would throw down 3, 1, 2, okay, he went 3, subtract 2, that's a fastball. And they knew that they would pick up, and they studied the algorithms of how they gave their hand signals. And so then, bro, it's as soon as I get the signal, that means fastball. Bang, one bang, guy hears it while he's at the dish, fastball's coming.
I mean, but they're going to have like 2 or 3 seconds to tap their head. And you're saying they're not going to be able to somehow find a way.
I'm watching. I see it. It's one of those that's down and away.
You're already like on a radio mic to someone who's out in center field that they know to look for, and instantly in 1 second you tell them it's a ball challenge. He throws up a pom-pom in the air.
A pom-pom.
Someone looks out there and the guy hits challenge, and you're going to rewrite every time. The other part of it was simply from the fan perspective. The challenge is like a dramatic moment.
Yes.
And you're waiting to see this on the board. Is it a strike or a ball? If you've already been watching, if you got monitors all over the ballpark, you lose that drama. So you can't really have the strike zone box anymore. Just an unintended consequence. All right, what about SDFC starting today? We're going to talk about that next. Small note from the Eric Grupner media session earlier this week that we didn't talk about yesterday, but Group mentioned that the Padres were probably going to be announcing a package of Saturday over-the-air games this season. That one of, I assume, the local television stations in town, and I haven't heard anything. I do work at one of the local television stations. Doesn't mean it's not mine, but if it was, I haven't heard anything about it. Is going to have a package, assumingly, I don't know how many over the course of the season, but at least some games that will be absolutely free to watch. You won't need cable. You won't need an MLB.com subscription, a Padres.tv subscription. You'll be able to watch Saturday games over the air, theoretically with an antenna or whatever, your most basic package of TV, at least on Saturdays, some of them during the season to watch Padres games.
That wouldn't black out people that do have cable.
Correct.
Or the MLB package.
I'm
or anything
confused.
like that.
What are you confused about? This is how TV worked when you were growing up. You turn on the TV, something was either on or it wasn't. In this case, it'll be on
Saturdays.
I'm still confused because, all right, let's say I just moved into a fresh new apartment.
Right.
Hannah finally kicked me out, and I'm on my own.
Okay.
And I don't have Wi-Fi yet. Hasn't been installed.
Right. But you have a television.
I go to Costco. I buy the biggest TV I can find because that's what single new bachelors do. I've got my lawn chair.
Right.
And I've got my brand new 99-inch TV.
Right.
I plug it in. I mount it.
Right.
I put it on.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm going to see when I turn it on is, aren't I? Aren't I going to see snow?
You need an antenna to pick up, just like you did back in 1978 when
they're
you were
a little bit
child.
different now.
They're different
they're
now.
Smaller. They
digitally convert, but they're still.
Why don't they put
you had
that
on top
in the
of
television?
Remember at the top of your house, they had the TV antenna that would plug into your TV, and it would help you get a nice picture signal.
Tevin goes, Woodsy, I love you, dude, but sometimes you're a Neanderthal. I'm not very tech savvy.
But also, if you have any sort of basic cable package that includes, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, KUSI, the CW, the basicest channels.
Hang on.
Then you'll be able to watch this.
Is there someone listening in this city that only has a TV plugged in with an antenna?
I don't know. I would assume there's a few people. But is there anyone in this city that has a television that doesn't get the local free quote-unquote
That's the thing.
stations?
I haven't done this in so long. I didn't even know you could still do that. I didn't know you could tune into Channel 4.
But even if you're paying, you still get those channels.
All right.
Right? I mean, that's the most those are the most basic channels.
Well, I mean, this isn't even a conversation for me because I subscribe to cable,
I know.
MLB TV, and Padres.tv.
But not everyone is as dumb as you that just pays for everything.
It kind of leads us into our next conversation.
This is why I brought it up because, and I'm unaware of exactly how it works, but our new soccer team, San Diego FC, is going to start playing this Sunday. First game, MLS history for San Diego at the LA Galaxy. And if I'm reading this correctly, the only way to watch that MLS game and most MLS games, including the San Diego FC games, is to buy a special Apple MLS soccer package that costs either $15 a month or $99 for the season.
I have Apple TV Plus.
But I do too. That's not enough.
Why not?
You have this is like an add-on to Apple TV to watch the soccer games. And my question here is, when you have a brand new team and you're trying to create a fan base and, show people what you're all about.
Hey, real quick, this is an MLS thing.
This
not
is an MLS
SDFC.
thing. This is not an SDFC. This is how they do their media rights deal. Apple bought paid whatever to MLS for their media rights deal, and they're pretty much the exclusive provider. I think there are some games on ESPN, a couple of national games. But
I've seen MLS.
You can't
on
expect
ESPN,
your team to be on the national game. I mean, it's going to be messy most of the time in Miami that gets the national game. So
good point.
When is San Diego ever going to be on TV? Unless you buy this package. And I'm sure there's some diehard soccer fans who've already signed up. They probably had it already. It's not a problem. But for the rest of us who are dipping our toe into the water, It's a big ask. Like, before my toe is even in, say, hey, before you dip your toe into the water, give me $100 so you can watch the games.
I do feel like that's a big ask. I do.
Now, I mean, you can get Apple TV that you pay for, $7.99 a month or whatever, $11.99 a month, and get MLB games every week when they have them on.
Correct.
For free.
Yes.
You can pay for Netflix for $14.99 a month, whatever that is, and when the NFL is on there, you get it for free.
Yes.
Well, it's
Good
included.
Point. It's a great point. Amazon Prime. You pay for Amazon
NFL.
Prime Thursday night.
We're talking about the MLB and the NFL. I would say have a much broader audience, a little more established.
Soccer is the most popular sport worldwide. You absolute cretin. You moron. I knew
MLS.
it. I knew it. I knew it.
Like if the NFL
Soccer is the most popular sport worldwide.
If the NFL is giving it out as part of the bundle that you're paying for, I think MLS probably could too.
Yes.
I mean,
if the NFL and Major League Baseball do it, and I pay for it, I pay it.
Especially, though, for a new team and a new market.
That's it, dude.
Is there not a way to, like, at least for the first season, hey, get a bunch of games on for free to try to attract the fan base?
Right.
I see
Make
in our
every
chat,
SDFC game a free preview on Apple TV Plus or whatever
for
MLS.
Well, you can even do it for the first
half the season,
whatever. Yeah.
Give people a taste before you start charging them. There's a business model there, I believe, where, the first hit is free, and then after that, you have to start paying for it.
Hey, man,
I assume
Jeff's
talking to me, I think, in the chat from what I was just saying. He said all those games are played on other networks primarily. Like, you can only, if they're on Netflix, the NFL's on Netflix, or MLB is on Apple TV, that's the only place you can watch
that's
it.
That's where you're going to watch it. And that's Paulie's point is, I mean, Netflix is like $25 a month now or something. I'm paying that. So you're damn right that I get those NFL football games. It is odd. I also pay for Apple TV. This won't shock anybody. But so now when MLS comes out, I want to check out this team on Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to have to stroke $100. People are saying, too, if you have T-Mobile, you get a free MLS pass. I'm 49 years old. I'm a grown-up. I don't have T-Mobile, okay? So I've got Verizon like an adult does. I have a Verizon like an adult has. I don't have.
So are you saying
T-Mobile.
that Verizon and like AT&T are the adult mobile?
Correct. Then you got
and
T-Mobile,
and
right?
Mint, Boost Mobile.
You know who likes T-Mobile? Bo likes. He's going to be on a
Crickets.
T-Mobile phone. Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
But like, bro, okay, so Netflix, they did the Christmas
T-Maybe, by the way, is what people call it. T-Maybe. Maybe I'll talk to you, maybe I won't. Okay? People are so mad at me right now.
Oh, yeah, you just pissed off, like, I don't know, 30% of our audience?
Well, listen, our demo's men 25-54. These are all 17-year-olds that are clearly upset with me right now.
Netflix had the exclusive doubleheader NFL games, halftime shows, and all that. I'm telling you right now, and I watch more NFL than I watch MLS.
Right.
But if I'm already paying for Netflix, and then they told me, by the way, it's another $15 added on to watch this NFL doubleheader on Christmas, I ain't watching football that
and
day.
for your local team, if you're, I mean, if you want to watch every Tennessee Titans game, you probably have to buy the NFL package. But like even now, I can't get away from the Chargers. They're either on CBS or Fox. They're not even a San Diego team, and I have to watch them every single week. Your local team is always on if you're in an NFL city. And while baseball is, yes, it's usually on a cable package, it's multiple ones. You can get it on different, Padres.tv is on DirecTV. It's on Spectrum. It's on Cox cable. You can stream it if you want. There's a lot of different options. With the MLS, the way I'm understanding this, if you want to watch SDFC, you really only have the one option.
There's one option to do it.
And it's paying the money or, I guess, switching to T-Mobile.
Yeah, so I can also be like a TikTok streamer and have T-Mobile.
I just think, I don't know how many percentage of people out there listening have Apple TV already. Maybe you bought it because the Padres had a few games on there.
Maybe you bought it because Ted Lasso's on it. You know what I mean? Like, there's some good stuff on there.
To pay for 2 subscriptions, essentially, I think is pretty ridiculous.
Maybe the most controversial thing I've ever said on the radio, which is surprising after 15 years, to be honest with you. I'm getting dragged.
I usually disagree with you, but if you need Zach Braff to sing about your cellular service, I don't know that you're getting the best quality.
T-Maybe is my favorite thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
the best?
I get through Verizon, I get something free. I believe it's Apple Music. So that makes me pretty happy. I don't use it a ton. Paulie and I have been talking about it behind the scenes about making the switch over. Oh, yeah. Get it free through Verizon. I mean, is Verizon more... People are like, oh, sorry, we don't get paid like baseball players. We don't all live in Encinitas. Is Verizon that much more than T-Mobile?
The best way to do it, Budget Ben is going to tell you, switch every year. As much of a...
God, it's the worst idea I've ever heard.
You keep switching and keep taking advantage of the introductory offers. It's the best way to manage your mobile and cable and everything.
I'm not saying this with tongue in cheek. I'd rather die. I would rather be killed than to do that. I would rather be shot.
That's the way to keep it as affordable as possible.
Man,
you have to keep switching and taking advantage of their 1-year introductory rates over and over again. So they're counting on people like you who don't want to go through the hassle, and when the bill jumps up by $80 a month, you're just like, fine, I'll just pay it. That's what they're counting on.
I've had the same bank for 30 years. I've had the same cell phone service for 25 years. I still pay for cable. I get it. I'm a boomer. But I'm not a deal hunter either. I got it's too much time in my day to go out sniffing around to save a nickel, And what you're telling me, though, is, hey, man, you're rocking the SDFC hat. You better get your ass on and subscribe to the MLS, which is what I will do right now through my Verizon service. I will go in and I will subscribe. And what's an extra $100 for a sport that I barely even like or follow right now?
You can't do the $15 a month just to, test it out version.
That's how they get you, though.
100.
Real quick,
but eventually you'll pay more that way.
This Google information is a couple years old now, but does say that the U.S. cell phone provider market share, 35% Verizon, 34% AT&T, 17% T-Mobile.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like I'm in the right spot here.
12% Sprint, and then 2% other.
Just open Major League Soccer, and this is open in Hulu. What is happening, dude? MLS Season Pass. Here we go. All right, here we go. I'll give you all.
All right, what's this buying it on the
every
air?
Club, every match, no blackouts.
Can you share your passwords with other people? How does that work?
Subscribe. All right, I just hit subscribe. Monthly, $12.99. They've lowered it, $12.99.
$12.99.
$79 for the season? That ain't $100. I'm doing it right
discount.
now.
All right, there you go.
I'm doing it right.
Wood spends money. Again, segment.
Done. Look at that. I am now a proud official.
And you're wearing your hat,
And
too.
I got my hat on.
You got your SDFC hat on. Woods is a giant fan of SDFC.
There we go.
Subscriber. He's got his hat on. He's ready to go.
I'm in. I just got in.
For the first game on Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday, what time? 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock against the LA Galaxy.
LA Galaxy.
The defending champions.
All right. I'm in. Done.
All right, we'll come back with a little don't do this in our next segment.
Yes, we will. But one thing I want to tell you is that you should do this. You definitely do this. Call QC Kinetics right now if you are in a lot of pain. And I'm talking about the joint pain that you wake up with and live with every single day. By the way, does not get better with time. I hope you know that. The older you get, the worse it gets. So go call QC Kinetics like I did a couple of years ago. I couldn't love them more. They asked me to come on and do a testimonial for them, like a commercial. You guys know how I feel about going on TV. I don't really like it, but when they asked me, I said, whatever you guys want. I will do anything you want me to do. They completely saved me, got me back into playing baseball, lifting weights, playing guitar, all the things I could not do for a while. And it was really quite terrifying. So if you feel that way, you got joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, and back, just call them today. Their orthobiologic cellular therapies, including PRP treatments, can revitalize your joints without going under the knife. So, again, doesn't get better with time. Make the call today. 2 locations, Torrey Hills and Hillcrest. 619-614-PAIN, 619-614-PAIN, or QC Kinetics, 619-614-PAIN.
Don't do this. Brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info.
You got yours done, though, right?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Okay. Whew. Maybe a little nervous.
Got a little clarity there. You got a $20 discount on your MLS season pass because you're already an Apple TV Plus subscriber. It's $100 if you don't have Apple TV Plus. It's $80 if you do. And Apple TV Plus is going to figure into my do this. First, though, don't do this. This is very disturbing. Tennis match, women's tennis match in Dubai yesterday. Emma Raducanu was competing against Karolina Muchova, and in the middle of the match, she goes up to the umpire in tears, like crying.
This was wild.
Yeah, I mean, she is visibly upset and walks up to the chair umpire. The chair umpire then quickly gets on her radio to start urgently telling someone something. So apparently there was a man, a fan who was sitting in the stands who was, they call it, fixated on Raducanu. Apparently he had approached her before and had been identified as a potential, I guess, stalker is what they're worried about. And she had actually had a stalking incident back when she was a teenager as well. So this was very unsettling and unnerving to her. They did find the fan and ejected him and have banned him, at least pending an investigation, from attending any of these matches. But it certainly calls up one of the scariest sports stories I think I can ever remember. 100%. And that was the guy who came out of the stands in a tennis match and stabbed Monica Seles in the back.
I'll never forget it. Ever, ever, ever. It stayed with me my whole life. Seeing that when we were kids, Ben, how old were we? 14 or something? It was just incredible. Yeah, you see somebody in that much terror. What are we doing, man? Get this guy out of here. Put him under the jail. You know what I mean? It's just there's no business. No time for anything like that. Mine's I'm kind of in the same vein, Benny. Former Spanish Football Federation president Luis Rubiales has been found guilty of sexual assault for kissing player Jenny Hermoso on the lips. Remember that after the
it was huge
after
Women's
Spain,
World Cup story. Yeah,
grabs her by the head, brings her in, kisses her. They wanted him actually behind bars for the incident. There's some new laws in Spain. He could have faced between 1 and 4 years behind bars. But he was ultimately ordered to pay a fine of over $10,000. He must stay at least 656 feet away, which is a very specific distance, and he's banned from communicating with her for over 1 year. Really, really creepy story. Now, the other part, too, is he maintained and was adamant that it was consensual, and she adamantly denied. And she did look really surprised when he grabbed her by the face and planted one on her. So he's going to... Yeah, I guess you say pay the piper. Yeah, $10,000 and got to stay 656 feet away.
So do you think, obviously, there's been in recent years the Me Too movement and a lot of attention given to bad behavior and these stories. Do you think that it's had an effect? Have guys who thought it was okay changed their tunes at all? Because we still get stories like this, but is it less? Do you think we're having a positive effect by giving so much attention to all these stories?
It's funny, man. It's not funny, but it's interesting because I had this conversation yesterday with a buddy that his fiance works in a very male-dominated business. I believe it is I want to say it's home security, right? But she's a higher up there. She's a VP. She's very attractive. So she's in Vegas on a business trip for a big convention. And they're sitting at the table for dinner, and this weird IT guy is sitting there, and he gets up from the table, and he said, this actually happened 2 nights ago. And the dude says, well, I'm off to go find some women with daddy issues and that are morally questionable. And I go, you're joking. He goes, no. Then the guy looked around. No one said anything. So he said it again. The CEO's... I said, I'm off to find some women who are morally casual with daddy issues. The CEO's assistant, female, was sitting right next to her. She goes, hey, I wouldn't say that. Right? Smarten up. Dude leaves. They have a big cocktail party. Bro went out, groped a couple of women, put his hands on a couple of women's back. They sent the dude home. He's going to be out of a job today, more than likely. So I like that there's not, my wife works in real estate, man. My wife goes and does showings. My wife works with a lot of men. Yeah, dude, I like that people are seemingly minding their P's and Q's a little bit more. And I was talking to my buddy.
There's always going to be
it.
Creeps,
of course, man.
Dregs of the earth.
But, this dude, he's out of a job. And as well he should be. There's no two ways about it. You just can't do it, man.
But, that wouldn't have been the case 20 years ago.
Dude,
they would have just expected the women to, just ignore it.
You know what my buddy said? He goes, Woodsy, what if it was me and you 25 years ago sitting at that table and we both got up and said, all right, off to find some morally casual women with daddy issues? No one bats an eye. And he goes, it definitely sounds like something we would have said. And I go, you know what? You're probably right, dude. Something that 25 years ago would have been a joke and everyone would have laughed and ha, ha, ha. And
we've evolved. And
there's evolution.
Humans do.
Right?
And
yeah.
You realize a lot of things that you said 20 years ago, and you don't say anymore.
And it's crazy, man. As the father of two boys, one of whom is massively girl crazy already at the age of 4. It's such my responsibility to teach them the lines, and so. But yeah, Ben, I think shining a light on it, on anything like that, is obviously always a good thing.
All right, finally a little do this.
DD mega do.
This one's kind of for me, but we're already looking for excuses to try to sign up for Apple TV Plus and
I
get
just
the
did
discount.
it. Yeah,
You already did it.
I'm so set right now.
You already there's you mentioned Ted Lasso, which is obviously I think they're coming back for one more season at some point.
Are they?
I did hear that. Yes, there's going to be another season of Ted Lasso. Severance just returned.
I wish I liked it.
Did you like Shrinking?
No,
you didn't like that one.
No.
Disclosure, I think that was one
That's
of them.
one of my favorites.
That one. I mean, there's some good content there.
Yeah, there's good programming.
Here's a new one that was just announced, and I'm just reading about this, and I'm excited about this. Owen Wilson going to be starring as an ex-pro golfer looking for life's second act.
I'm in.
In
I
a
am
new show
all the way
called Stick
in
on Apple TV Plus. It was.
When's it start?
He was kind of a tin. It's basically like a tin cup type. He flamed out on the PGA Tour.
All in.
And now he is trying to get back on the tour with a young prodigy to give his wisdom to a young
It's like a Kenny Powers of golf. I'm 100%.
There's going to be, like in Tin Cup, there's going to be cameos from real PGA Tour players on this show.
Yeah.
Starring Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Keegan Bradley, Wyndham Clark, Max Homa, Colin Morikawa, Jim Nance. So, a very Tin Cup vibe here. They have already signed up for, 8 episodes already.
Nice.
For the first season of Stick. That was his nickname on tour. He had the most talent. He was a stick.
Oh, I love it.
But he had some big meltdown apparently that ended his career. He topped out at number 18 in the world. I'm intrigued already
I'm all
by
in,
this
dude.
show.
I'm all in.
I'm looking forward to this.
I can see him being pretty good in that role too.
Let's see if I can see when it's going to debut. I don't see a date yet for Stick, but it's definitely all right. I can get my Apple TV Plus.
That's what got you.
That one would get me, I think.
Okay, good. You didn't have it already?
June 4th.
Oh, you do have it.
I do have it.
June 4th.
June 4th.
All right.
All right, coming this summer.
Check it out.
All right, that's Don't and Do This for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
We had a lot of comments yesterday at Padres spring training from Luis Arraez.
Oh, yeah.
And the kind of season, what is
Sweet Angel,
man.
I know. What's the realistic expectation? What kind of season should we get here going into a contract year? I mean, healthy
375.
I know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it when we come back on Ben and Woods.
Well, listen, guys, what could you do with an extra $75,000 right now? Even a couple $100,000. You could sign up for the MLS package if you wanted to. If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto, the leader in quickly converting your home's equity into cold, hard cash so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto's got several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. Virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Look, we hate waiting for things. We all know that, right? We want it now. These guys can do it for you really quickly. So one client got out $150,000, paid off their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as a day. Act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 619-207-4336. Get the money you need for anything, 619 207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Throwback Thursday on Ben and Woods coming up in just a few minutes. Not my finest moment, I'll admit that. Right now, not my finest moment. But I know you guys enjoy it.
It's a good one.
Oh, these are the best. I just looked at it. These are the best.
It's not my favorite.
It's incredible, and it just gives me a platform to just skewer you.
That's
just
why
roast and skewer you.
That's why I don't like it.
And you just have to sit there and take
I know.
it.
I get it.
Because you know I'm right.
I get it, but I respect the Throwback Thursday. This is the one that came up, so spin the wheel, you take your chances.
That's right. Remember the topic wheel? That was fun. We never do that anymore.
We don't. Paul still has it. We need to maybe load some new topics at some point, but we can get to a topic wheel.
I mean, it's not like we're bursting at the seams with stuff to talk about.
There it
Remember
goes.
it? There it is. Let's do a quick one.
All right, let's do it.
Why not?
A quick one. It just popped into my head when you said spin the wheel.
Need a little bit of grease on the.
Yeah, a little lube. A little
Haven't used it in a while.
rusty.
What is the weirdest thing in your fridge right now?
Ooh.
Let's see. I was just looking in there yesterday.
The weirdest thing.
All right, so I've got this giant, really big Costco size gochujang sauce. It's like the Korean spicy sauce.
Oh, I'm
Shelly
so
needed some for a recipe.
I'm so fascinated.
And I was at Costco. I shouldn't have bought the big one, but I just got the big one. And now it's like it doesn't really go bad, but we're never ever going to use it. So it's like I don't throw it out. But it's like the size of like a gallon milk jug of gochujang hot sauce, Korean hot sauce.
So why not just toss it? You're not?
Well, I mean, it's not bad though. I mean, it's still.
Are you eating it on anything?
I have once added it to like some meal prep to add a little spiciness, like a teaspoon.
But yeah, so
but at this rate,
I got an idea. Take some, pour it in some Tupperware, and then get rid of the giant.
Yeah, it's really big.
The giant jug.
Yeah.
We do a decent job at it's probably like a 4-day-old half of a Jersey Mike sandwich that my kids didn't finish. And I saw it this morning, and it bothered me. Not enough to throw it away, but I saw it this morning. The paper's like sticking up and
that's
stuff.
That's a real thing. Looking in your fridge and seeing something that bothers you,
and you go, not right
but
now.
Not enough to do anything about it.
I made chili about a month ago. I think Hannah just poured it out like 3 days ago. She's like, "Are you going to do the chili?" I go, "I made the chili, so I'm not doing the chili. I thought that was the rules. I cook, you do the dishes." And she's like, she said this, actually. Ring the misogyny bell on her. She said, "It's a man's job to pour out the remaining chili." And I said, "I don't know about that. I made the chili." So we bickered over it, and I just ignored it, and she ended up doing it anyway.
Polly?
We did... on Sunday, I believe it was, had a Instacart Costco delivery.
Yep.
Didn't feel like battling the Costco weekend lines.
Don't blame you.
So happily pay a little extra to have it delivered. We did not order this item. It was not on our cart, and we were not charged for it. But damn it, if it didn't get delivered, we got a 3 or 4 pound container, like a tub of sour cream.
Huh.
Not
Taco
just the regular,
shop, not the
industrial
regular
size,
big old
like 4
sour
pounds.
Cream.
It was like 3 or 4 pounds.
Is it in a vat?
It's like a giant plastic bucket.
Yeah.
And you're like, who on God's green earth is using that much sour cream unless you're like
cooking
for the
you're
masses.
A restaurant or something like that.
And so it's in the fridge right now because I didn't want to put it out in the hot
garbage
trash can until the night before pickup.
Baked potato night sounds like a great idea, but you still have a lot left over.
Baked potato
4 pounds
party.
Of sour cream.
You could use it. You could use it for a rub down.
What?
Grease each other up.
Sour cream?
Sure, why not?
What kind of weird
idea
S are you into?
It's a dairy product that's already soured on purpose.
It's disgusting.
It's the last thing you want to.
I'll eat it. I'll eat it a dollop.
Hey, Brandon, did they send sour cream instead of something else? No, it just was there. I was like, "Did you order this? Did you order the wrong size?"
I didn't want to admit it, but I have a problem. I eat it by the spoonful.
Well, let's see. Jeff has a pie that a girl made him 3 years ago.
What? Why?
Jeffrey has 3 bottles of Taco Bell hot sauce, and he specifies the hot sauce, not the mild sauce.
Why, though? Why would you keep a pie from a 3-year-old
I didn't know
pie?
I didn't know Taco Bell sauce came in bottles. I thought it only came in little individual packets.
No, you can buy everything now.
Yeah.
Why would you keep a 3-year-old pie? Did she die or something? And it's the last.
I mean, you're never going to eat it again.
No. Wouldn't it go bad?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely not edible anymore.
No hot beef in your.
Hot beef! Not in the fridge.
In your fridge.
Hot beef!
Wouldn't be hot anymore.
Scorley says he has a jar of pickled sausages, which may be the most disgusting thing I have ever heard. I like pickles.
That's
I like sausages.
a chopped ingredient.
It's disgusting.
Pickled sausages, sour cream.
Jeff said no.
Taco Bell hot sauce.
Jeff said no. She was super hot. So if I see her again, I can tell her I still have the pie.
I don't think that's going to work. Buddy.
I don't either, man. What I would do, though, if you still have her number, just drop her a text with a picture of that pie and said, hey, I still have this pie. Haven't forgotten you yet. Haven't forgotten you. See if it works.
I think that goes with our don't do this stalker
That's true.
story.
That's
if you
also
still have that pie.
Also,
my question would be, why didn't you eat it when I gave it to you? That was the purpose of the pie.
Correct. Interesting. I missed the topic wheel. See, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. What did you want to say about Luis Arraez?
I wanted to say that Luis Arraez is just a gem, isn't he?
He is.
Isn't he just a gem? He's not signed beyond this season. There certainly is a valid debate about his actual value in terms of dollars and what he's worth, but he's clearly worth something. Everyone seems to love him. He can put bat on ball like nobody's business, and he's healthy again. And that was one of the things he talked about yesterday. Spent some time. Sammy Levitt was at his locker in the clubhouse, and got a chance to chat a little bit with Luis Arraez.
I don't pay attention about that. It's a lot of people talk about my train. He go to the Yankees, he go to the Lions, the Texas, whatever they want to do with me. They can talk about train, but I'm still here. I got this beautiful uniform. Aww. I support this uniform, and then I feel good here. So I'm here to play baseball and then try to win the World Series.
How much fun did you have last year playing in front of the fans at Petco Park?
It's amazing. Like, when I saw Petco Park full every day, I said, wow, we need to do something good for them.
I love him. I always have. I've loved him since the day we got him. I've argued with people online. My boy Shirtless Whitson hates Luis Arraez. I love Shirtless. He's a really smart dude. I argue with this cat every single game about Luis Arraez, and I know it didn't go super well for him. In the playoffs, again, playing with a dangling thumb. I'm really excited to see what he can do this year. The interesting thing too, and the people that are really good with analytics and things like that. Hey, he'd be better suited in this spot in the lineup. I'll listen to any and all arguments, Ben. If you told me Luis Arraez makes this team better hitting in the 7 hole, I'm fine with it. I think he needs to be in the lineup. I realize his defensive deficiencies. I get all that. There's none of that I don't understand. So you're not wrong when you bring it up. But what I will say again, and I've said it like a mantra, it's the hardest effing thing to do in sports, and he does it well. And it's just, it's hard for me to turn my back. Oh, he's a one-dimensional player. Fine. That one dimension is the most difficult thing to do out there.
I don't know that we saw full-powered Luis Arraez. In fact,
Correct.
I know we really didn't last year. And, he was talking about those trade rumors. I love his attitude. Hey, as long as I'm in this beautiful uniform.
We're easy. Pander to us, and you're a Padres for life.
Love
you know
being
that.
On this team.
Right.
Does that mean I want to pay him $20 million a year? Probably not. But I look at Luis Arraez, and even at, maybe 70% or whatever he was last year, he brought value to the team. No doubt about it.
No question.
What's
He's
the
a nightmare
value?
AB.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he brought value to the team. He had some big hits. He had some huge games, 4-hit games, big moments, made life difficult on opposing pitchers. So there's value there. But we never really saw him at full power. And he said yesterday, thumb feels great. Got it fixed in the offseason. I just, I jammed myself the other day. Didn't feel a thing. You remember last year, every time he'd foul off a pitch, it was
yeah, it was terrible, man.
It looked awful. It looked painful. It looked awful last season, and yet he still won the batting title. And part of that is, he had to modify a little bit. Like if he wanted to pull the ball, maybe even to the gap, he had to change his swing entirely to do that. To anticipate, to pull, to yank it with a functioning thumb. Luis Arraez actually is a little bit more of a doubles type hitter than we saw last season. Can't even hit like 10, 12 home runs over the course of the year. If they get
Has he ever done that?
I believe he has.
Well, look.
10 maybe might be his career high, I want to say.
Feels high.
But if you get that Luis Arraez, if he hits 360, adds some doubles.
10.
Yeah, 10. And gives you 10 home runs.
2023.
That could be absolutely enormous for the San Diego Padres.
Well, and they've already talked about, and he's already talked about too, I went out of the zone. I went out of the zone a little bit too much last year, and I want to hone that in. Mike Schultz has talked about his guys, maybe needing to walk a little bit more. You are going to have to figure out, again, we talk about replacing Jurickson Profar. Jurickson had a really good eye, good OBP always. Even in a slump, Ben, he could still work you a walk. And so with Luis, again, depending on where he hits, man, like he's a guy that can completely change a game and can just frustrate a pitcher to no end. So I do think he needs to be in the top 3 of the lineup. Where he belongs in that top 3, let's debate it. Let's debate it all day. Let's try different things this year, Mike Schilt. I'd love to see it, but he's such a good hitter.
Well, keep in mind, last season's OBP of 346 was okay, but it's not great, especially for a leadoff hitter. And a little Bensplaining here, though. Your OPS really can't be lower than your batting average. He can hit higher. I think he could hit higher than 346. He has hit 354 in 2023 with the Marlins. So even if he only walks a few more times, if he ups that average to Luis Arraez-like levels and hits 350, then you could get pretty easily to a 400 on-base percentage. And all of a sudden, you are talking about an elite on-base percentage. He's had a 393 OBP. He did that in the year he hit 354. His rookie season, he had a 399 OBP. If he gets around that 400 level of on-base percentage, that replaces really what Jurickson did. He was around there most of the season. I think tailed off a little bit at the end of the year. But if he's up there, absolutely. That's a huge value to any team to have a guy close to 400 on-base percentage.
No-brainer.
He doesn't necessarily need to walk a ton more, but if he hits more, which I think he can, and just walks a little bit more, that's a 400 OBP guy right there.
Yeah, man. And again, I'm never going to apologize for loving a player that is happy to be here, wants to be here, massively energetic, and just happens to be one of the best bat-to-ball guys in Major League Baseball. It's hard for me. I understand, again, all the defensive deficiencies. I understand all the things, that are wrong with Luis Arraez, so to speak. I love guys that are masters of their craft, and his craft is hitting, and he is truly a master of it. So now that he's healthy, I'm so excited to see what he can do. So excited. He brings so much to the table for this team.
Just a reminder, the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest is your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. All you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour to earn your daily entry into our national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus $20,000 in cash. Get to a Throwback Thursday moment that I'm not looking forward to after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Got a few things going on here, guys. Possible brush or encampment fire northbound 15 before the 805. Some smoke visible in the area. Also going to find Balboa on-ramp to southbound 805. Some debris in the roadway. Now, eastbound 8 past the 125, an accident being cleared out of lanes. And southbound 5 to the East 8 connector ramp remains blocked as crews clean up that paint spill from yesterday. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So, Woods, you know me. I'm pretty easygoing. Don't mind, getting teased a little bit by you. It's fine.
Right.
I understand, and it's okay.
I also don't mind getting teased.
And I know you don't. But the reason why this Throwback Thursday in particular tends to bother me more than most is that it calls into question my professionalism. And it's one thing that I actually do take some pride in. I feel like I'm a fairly professional person. And when you play this, it sounds like I'm really not. Like I'm not paying attention, I'm not distracted, I'm not doing my job. And in certain arguments. It really sounds very true. I can't deny it. I'm not here playing Candy Crush. I promise you that.
The funny part is I've got about 10 different examples of this very moment.
I get it.
Correct.
But it does happen that sometimes my focus slips to something else.
It wanes.
I'm not daydreaming here. I promise I'm not daydreaming. I'm not great at multitasking, so if I'm looking at perhaps what's coming up in the next segment, or if I am, perhaps looking up a statistic on my computer, I can't always listen as intently as you'd like me to do.
There are times that I'll speak, and I'm like, I leave it kind of open-ended for him to respond, and let's get in a dialogue. And he just looks at me blankly, and then anyway, the biggest fan is Jim Johnson. Call us. And I'm like, all right, I guess that conversation's over. But these are the ones that get me. When was this, Paulie?
This was 5 years ago.
5 years
today.
Ago. Nothing has changed in 5 years.
Now, we were talking about like music or something
he
festival,
doesn't care about.
So I don't know exactly what that is. But here's Ben Repeats Woods again. And has to be record time.
Okay.
All time in 7 years of this show.
Quick record.
I think when you're playing county fairs mostly, I don't think you care much anymore. Like
20 years ago? Yeah, probably.
Stay Tuned was the name of that movie, Ben.
By the way, the movie I was thinking of is called Stay Tuned with John Ritter and Pam Dauber. Weird, I know.
No.
What? Did you already get it? I've been looking it up.
That was lightning fast. Do it again.
One more time.
Yeah,
20 years ago? Yeah, probably.
Stay Tuned was the name of that movie, Ben.
By the way, the movie I was thinking of is called Stay Tuned with John Ritter and Pam Dauber.
I'm just literally forgotten. I'm a forgotten man.
I've got the...
looking up the name of the movie.
I'm zooming
I just told you.
I'm zooming in here on the wavelengths for the sound of that. One more time.
0.5
Stay
seconds.
Tuned was the name of that movie, Ben.
By the way, the movie I was thinking... So you didn't edit that,
swear to God,
3 minutes
on my
out
life,
and then,
no edits.
That's
0.6 seconds.
That's literally the amount of time.
Stay Tuned was the name of that movie, Ben.
By the way, the movie I was thinking of is called Stay Tuned.
I'm just forgot. This has been my whole career.
Like you don't even
Paulie.
register.
I just
with
don't
him.
even come up on anybody's radar. My wife does it. My work wife does it. Why do you think I'm so filled with rage? Because no one hears me. I'm unheard. I go unheard. My kids don't listen to me. My partner doesn't listen to me. My wife doesn't listen to me. This is why I'm so mad all of the time.
Stay Tuned was the name of that movie, Ben.
By the way, the movie I was thinking of is called Stay Tuned with John Ritter and Pam Dauber. The irony, as Dominic points out, is Ben is not staying tuned.
Yeah, you were not staying tuned. That's exactly right. You were not staying tuned at all. Yeah, this is why I stress eat. Because of you, and Hannah, and Bo, and Taylor. I'm just the unheard voice. Yeah, you weren't playing on your phone or anything.
I'm sure I was trying to look up. I was Googling John Ritter movies to try to look it up. And while I was doing that, I can't really type and look up something and also listen at the same time. I have a very one-track mind.
Ask me to look up a stat, and while we have a conversation. Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right. Look up, let's see, Tony Gwynn's batting average in 1993.
Okay.
And then let's also talk about the Aztecs and their next game. Who do you think? Who are they playing in their next game?
They've got New Mexico.
What's Tony Gwynn's? No, they have Utah State.
Utah State. New Mexico's after that. 358.
358.
Yeah. I mean, you got to fake it till you make it, bro. That's the deal. But I'm not mad. I'm fine. I'll years of intensive therapy has gotten me in a little bit better space.
Stay Tuned was the name of that movie, Ben.
By the way, the movie I was thinking of is called Stay Tuned with John Ritter and Pam Dauber.
It's the worst.
Weird, I know.
He thinks we're laughing at the movie. The movie.
Oh, I know. It is a goofy movie. No.
Weird, I know.
That's not.
What?
That's
Did you
my
already
favorite
get
part.
it?
What weird?
I've been looking it up.
I just hear me go. You're the best. Yeah, multitasking, not great at it.
Not great at it.
That's all right.
I will admit that. All right, we're halfway home here on a
That's my
Thursday.
line. I do that.
You do that later, though.
Yeah,
I do it now.
I do it at 8.
We got Sammy Levitt still to come, real or fake. All next.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Great to be here with you guys. Another just show-off day for San Diego outside. Yesterday was stunning, just stunningly beautiful, and today is looking like more of the same. We're so lucky to live here, and after 15 years, it's still not lost on me when I walk outside. Like, it's one thing I can say. Out of all the things in my life I take for granted, never here. Never once have I been like, Like, I get furious when it rains here. I get furious when it's gray. I love it so much, and it's just so beautiful out there right now. Can't wait to get out of here in a couple of hours and go enjoy it a little bit. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good question in the chat, Ben. Ray asked, do you have an internal dialogue? I think we've talked about this before, and I believe you said you don't.
Everybody, I think, to a certain extent has one, but mine's pretty minimal.
Pretty quiet.
You said you didn't think you had one, and we're like, how is that even possible?
I don't talk to myself that much. Or maybe I do, and I'm just not listening.
I feel like you do, and you're not listening.
I'm talking to myself in my head right now about like the next thing I'm going to say or whatever.
What's the difference between an internal dialogue and just thinking? Because I do think.
My internal dialogue is
when I'm not talking, it's not like I just turn off like I'm a robot. I do think about things.
Yeah, tell me about it, Pauline. Mine is psychopath. My internal dialogue is a straight up lunatic.
I find, though, that when I do find myself turning something over for it's like a minute or two in my mind, I usually just stop myself and go, what's the point of this?
What's the point?
Why am I obsessing over this? This is all just going on inside my head right now. Not doing anything about it. Just let it go.
While thoughts encompass the entire spectrum of mental processes, including images, feelings, and abstract ideas, internal dialogue refers specifically to the part of your thinking that takes the form of a conversation like inner voice, where you mentally talk to yourself using words and phrases, essentially a verbalized stream of thoughts within your mind. A subset of your overall thoughts.
Now, that's interesting, too. And what I will say, I have a compliment for both of you guys. Both of you are phenomenal human beings as it pertains to letting me vomit it out on you. And not about you or the show or anything, but like if I need to come in here and vomit something, if it's about Adam or something else.
It's usually Adam.
Some work thing or whatever, even a personal thing. You guys are phenomenal at letting me do it without cutting me. Like my wife will just say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I'll just hold this inside. You guys, both of you are phenomenal. I'm a venter. You guys know I'm a venter. You guys let me vent. And that, I'd rather have that than you listen to me on the air.
It doesn't cost anything to let
listen.
You vent.
Right.
You know?
You do think I'm insane, though, sometimes. I know that. Like, we had a call yesterday. I went a little insane on it.
You did. I will agree with that.
I did.
Adam was on the call. We were all talking about a certain subject, and Woods was getting a little...
I got a little spicy.
Was there an eye roll or two? I was on
From
the phone,
you?
so you couldn't see it.
Did you eye roll me?
I might have eye rolled you a
Was
little
I
bit,
right?
No, but then I supported you, and
No.
I wanted to be a good, supportive co-host in the conversation.
You did have my back.
And I wanted to, I'm very logical, somewhat calculating. So I'm thinking to myself, part of the thing is, okay, I see his point. I also see Adam's, converse point. Neither of you were totally wrong. Neither of you were 100% right.
It's my damn delivery, man. That's what gets me in trouble.
So when I'm going through this, because this is where I often land. I am someone who sees the gray areas in things. And I've always wondered, sports talk radio, the worst possible career choice for someone.
Don't say it twice, dude.
Who sees the gray area. Because everything has to be black and white. You have to have a strong opinion one way or another. And I'm very malleable when it comes to, I will listen, and okay, take 2 from this side and 3 from this side and put them together somewhere in the middle. And that's what, when I was listening to both of you, I certainly understood both points. So then I get to the logical point and go, who needs my support more in this conversation? And I clearly decided Woods needs the backing here more than Adam does. And so I kind of went with the parts of your argument that I agreed with more and backed those. Were there other parts of Adam's argument that I also could have agreed with? Yeah, I would say so. because I wasn't 100% either way.
Yeah, and I realized at the time that I was absolutely filleting him from the inside, that he was just the middleman. And he's a really good listener, too. I vent at him all the time.
Oh, yeah, for things that he has no control over.
And I realized that. I absolutely realized that. But no, I...
Bro, I don't give a what you heard. I'm sending you what was said.
Oddly enough, that was, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Recorded phone call.
More than that.
About an iPad with a listener.
Yeah.
That exact phrase probably does get said still to Adam about something he said on our show.
Yeah, I don't say it twice, dude.
Bro, I don't give a what you heard. I'm sending you what was said.
Yeah, I've said that. I've said that to him. Yeah, not much has changed. All this work I put in, and not much has changed. Well, thank you guys for being there for me. I appreciate it.
Hey,
you're welcome.
Got you.
Got a Jeff Passenbaum that was just reported in the chat. Caitlin, our beloved Caitlin, says breaking Aaron Boone contract extension with the New York Yankees. I got to feel...
2 year.
How long?
2 years.
2 years, man.
Through the 2027 season.
I got to feel like one for old Doc Roberts has got to be coming soon, right? Did you guys see that list? Brian,
I did.
Brian Kenny finally puts a Padre ahead of a Dodger, gives some respect to the Padres. Is he coming around right now? He ranked his, I think, 10 best managers in baseball, and he had old Shilty at number 3.
What's up, my dudes? How you doing?
Doing good. Shilty, can I get you a bloody beer?
Just about everybody else on that list had either taken their team or won a World Series in that top 10.
Yeah.
Except for Mike Schultz.
Yeah.
He was the only one, but he was number 3. And I go, okay, there's something that Brian Kenny sees here that puts Mike Schultz in the category of world champion managers when he hasn't gotten to that level yet. I think for Schultz, the answer there is the consistency that Mike Schultz has displayed as manager every single year. 90 wins or more, with 3 with the Cardinals, now 1 with the Padres. Not always predicted to do so either. Wasn't
How fantastic is that?
He has gotten, generally, from at least the outside perspective, more out of his teams than people expect.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I'm looking at the top 10 managers in baseball as, according to Brian Kenny, again, this is his opinion, right, of being around the game. Number 1, A.J. Hinch with the Detroit Tigers. I think A.J. Hinch did a marvelous job last year. Marvelous with what he had to work with. And once they got into the playoffs, was doing those bullpen games. I mean, he really managed his tail off. Bruce Bochy, Texas Rangers. Didn't have their best year last year, but he led them to
both of those guys with World Series rings.
Yep. Mike Schultz, 3rd. Alex Cora, 4th. Kevin Cash from Tampa Bay, 5th. He's always in the top 10. Who does more with less than that guy? Brian Snitker for the Braves. He navigated some pretty tough waters last year, injury-wise. Rob Thompson from Philly. Maybe, yeah, okay. Steady hand, I guess. Dave Martinez from the Washington Nationals. Probably a better team than they were expected to be last year as well. A lot of moving parts, a lot of new faces. Number 9, Dave Roberts for the LA Dodgers, and number 10, Torey Lovullo from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
So I would say all but Schultz and Cash have gotten their teams to the World Series, and I think 6 of them have actually won the World Series out of those 10.
Cash went to the World Series.
He did get to, oh, yeah,
yeah,
he
if
did.
you count
That's right,
2020,
with,
which we really...
That's
which
true.
we really
Go
Dave Roberts.
I wasn't thinking about 2020. So all of them have gotten to the World Series other than Mike Schultz.
Hinch won it. Bochy won it.
Yep.
Cora won it.
Yep.
Cash did not win it, but got there. Snitker won it.
Yep.
Thompson...
Got there. Didn't win it.
Got there. Who'd they play?
There's... No, they beat Arizona, and then they lost to Texas.
Texas. Yeah, that's right. So got there. Dave Martinez won it.
Yep.
Dave Roberts won it. Torey Lovullo got there. Yeah. Schulte's the only one without a World Series appearance on that whole list. Yeah. How about now? What better time than now? But Dodger fans got super upset. And look, I don't.
But Dave gets rightfully docked. No pun intended. For
hot beef,
insane expectations,
hot beef.
You know, from what they give him, as they should be insane. But has Dave Roberts ever gotten more out of his team than anyone expected? The only time was during the playoffs last year.
I mean,
during
honestly,
the playoffs last year.
That's
the
not...
regular season wasn't even particularly great. It was kind of a disappointing regular season. And until Game 4 of the Padres series, it was going down as perhaps
the worst of
the worst, and Dave might have lost his job.
I said it to Jeff Passan last year when we had Jeff Passan on that day after he put the little brother quote up, and we got him on the phone. I said to him, we were arguing about Dave Roberts, and of course I was made to look like a fool, which that not the first or last time that happened. But I said, Jeff, who's done more with less, or who's done less with more than that guy in his tenure? Who's done less with more resources, better players, unlimited salary funds for his guys, expectations through the roof? Who's done less with more than that guy? And he really didn't have a good answer other than, well, he continues to win the division every year. Okay. There are people that feel like
it would be insane if he didn't.
If he didn't, right. So that's the knock against Doc, if you will. But I think 9 may be a little low for Dave Roberts, and I'm saying that even as the generational hater. I think 9's a little low.
Is 3 a little high for Schulte?
Maybe.
I'm not trying to be insulting, but when you compare him to all the World Series winners in that list, that's quite the compliment from Brian Kenny to put Mike Schulte at number 3.
How's Bochy not number 1? You know what I mean? Like, Bochy should be number 1. You want to put A.J. Hinch 2? That's probably a better representation. But, yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see at the end of the year how it all shakes out, my friends. But, listen, wanted to tell you about Underdog. Been having a blast with it. And I'm a little nervous because tonight, my friends, I need a couple of guys to go. Benny, I need Jason Tatum to go higher than 19.5 points.
He can do that.
Here's the one I'm scared of. I need Joel Embiid to go higher than 9.5 rebounds.
Well, if he plays, he can do that.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too. But, man, I'm having a blast with Underdog. If that hits for me, by the way, it's 4 figures for your old pal Woodsy, and I will be very, very, very happy. All you got to do, download the app. It's one of the leading sports apps you can play now right here in our state. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Very, very simple to do. Just choose which guys will go higher or lower on one of their stats, points, assists, rebounds, and more. You can mix and match among all sports. Very excited for baseball to get going. Can't wait. I'll be on Underdog a lot more during baseball season for sure. But let's have some fun together. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code WOODS to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with the promo code WOODS. Claim your special offer today. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Now, you must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Do love our lists in sports, don't we? We were just doing Brian Kenny's top 10 managers. Mike Trout was insulted by his placement on the MLB 100 list this offseason.
Where was he? Like
39.
30? Oh, almost 40. Oof. I
can see the argument one way or the other. Here, before we get to that, we need a contestant for Real or Fake on a Throwback Thursday, and the lines are wide open. So if you want to play and qualify for our getaway to Las Vegas, call now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I don't see how you can be offended by being 39 when you haven't really played at all the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for him.
I mean, technically, either he should just be off the list, like you're not even a top 100 player anymore, or if you're saying he's still prime Mike Trout, if he's healthy, then he should be way higher than 39.
Did he say he was offended?
He said he would be, motivated by it or...
Okay. Well, I mean, look, since 2020, he's played 119 games once. The second highest behind that is 82, and then 2020 was a shortened season. He played 53 games, so that's almost the entire season. 2021, Ben, he played 36 games. 2024, he played 29 games. He had 109 ABs and batted .220. Yeah, I mean, look, he
said stuff like that fires you up
good.
A bit.
I love when Mike Trout is good at baseball. I really do. I don't think
it was a lack of motivation the last couple of
I don't think it was either. His body broke down
Trout
on him.
from being good.
Yeah.
Mike Trout, if healthy, is very, very, very good.
Yep.
Just has not been healthy. And, of course, he's moving over to right field. So I know that that's traditionally what they say. Like, center field is the toughest one because you're doing all that running. But, man, I look at Fernando Tatis Jr. out there. He certainly doesn't look like he runs any less than a center fielder. Plus, he has to deal with the side walls, as he's going into foul territory. Honestly, it looks like it's more dangerous to play right field sometimes than center field.
It's, look, I think a center fielder, you're covering both gaps, right? And in right field, you're covering one gap in the line.
If it's going to the right of the center fielder, you don't really have to run as much.
Yeah. And so, I think they obviously feel they can get more out of him moving him. I mean, look, at the end of the day, could you get more out of Mike Trout if he's just DH'd? You know what I mean? Like, hey, at this point, 33 years old, you've been in the league a long time, you've played a ton of games, you got a lot of wear and tear on that body. Why don't you sit and hit, bro? Could you? But, I think he's one of those guys that wants to be out on the field, probably feels that it keeps him locked in at the plate. And there's a lot of guys like that. It's more rare to find the guy that's like, great, I'll just sit on my ass and go hit at 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys who can do it.
Oh, yeah.
But very few of them prefer. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, yeah, given the choice, I just would never go out to the field.
I mean, you think of a couple off the top of your head.
Shohei, but
JD Martinez, David Ortiz. I mean, I think there comes a point in a guy's career where he's like, I'm better suited just being a hitter and staying engaged in the game and just going up and hitting 4 times. So, but yeah, he's 33 years old, man. I know it feels like we've been watching the kid for 13 years or something. So it's I hope he's good, man. I hope he's good and healthy because. I don't know that the Angels have much left in the tank or anything, with their offseason moves to do anything. But I like when Mike Trout's good at baseball. That's good for baseball. And I'd love to see that, dude.
The Angels fans certainly deserve something good.
They do.
Happen.
They absolutely.
They signed some guys this offseason.
Yeah, they got Darno and they got Soler and they made some moves.
Kikuchi.
Yeah, they need they need arms. They need to figure out how to compete with the Astros and compete with the Texas Rangers and the Mariners. Their nasty pitching staff. It's going to be tough for them, man. But a healthy Mike Trout certainly helps.
All right, let's get to a Throwback Thursday game of Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods.
You can go plow through another donut.
It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
We're playing for a qualifying spot in our grand prize for the month. It is tickets to Motley Crue and their new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live, Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th. And if you beat or tie Woods, you're not going to only be qualified for the tickets, but also 2 nights at the Park MGM.
This is a messed up category, Benjamin.
You think so?
I think so.
We got Brandon on the line, ready to be our contestant. Good morning, Brandon. How are you?
Morning. Good.
This is Brandon, correct? You're good. You're good to go for Real or Fake?
It's Julian. My caller ID says something different, but yeah.
No,
Julian.
Julian. All right, that's fine. Julian is our contestant. Yeah, we can't screen everybody, so we kind of have to rely on caller ID sometime. Feel free to correct us at any moment. We don't want you to go by the wrong name. All right, Julian, here's how the game works.
Sure.
We've got our category for today. If you get 4 out of 7 right, and Woods is allowed to help you, you will qualify for the grand prize. All right, here we go. The season is here. Soccer season and Oscar season. But which is which? The San Diego FC gets ready to open the season on Sunday. We're going to check in on the roster. Today on Real or Fake, I'll give you a name. You tell me if it's a real San Diego FC player or a fake. In this case, a person nominated for an Oscar at next week's Academy Awards. I mean, it sounds so simple,
easy, but I bet you it's not.
All right, so we're looking for real San Diego FC players. Julian, you ready to go?
Yep, let's do it.
Round 1. Yura Borisov. Real or fake San Diego FC player? Yura Borisov.
I'm going to go real.
Gonna go real? No, he was wrong. Did you know that one once? No. Yura Borisov is nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role for his role in the movie Anora at next week's Academy Awards.
I saw Anora. It's incredible.
Did you?
Yes.
All right.
It's incredible.
You know which one Yura Borisov is?
I think it was the kid, the Russian kid.
Okay.
Is that right?
I think you're right, yes.
Best supporting role?
It's Best Supporting Actor.
That movie is amazing.
All right. That's 0 for 1, but you can still come back. All right, here we go. Round number 2. Brady Corbett. Brady Corbett. Real or fake San Diego FC player?
What do you think, Woodsy?
God, it feels like a soccer player's name to me, doesn't it? Brady Corbett. Let's go real.
Okay, I'll agree with Woods. Real.
Julian says real, and you guys are both wrong.
Son of a...
Brady Corbett is nominated for Best Director for the movie The Brutalist.
Want to see that too. Adrian Brody. I'd like to see that.
We're 0 for 2.
All right,
let's get going here. All right, round number 3. Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo.
All right.
Real or fake San Diego FC player? Julian?
Woodsy sounds like he knows that one.
No, I just... That sounds like a...
You said all right.
I did, but it sounds... Oh, God, it sounds so real. He's really playing a mind game with me right now. He's got this weird poker face on. What do you think?
I'm going to go fake.
Fake. Let's go.
No, fake.
Yeah, fake. Yeah.
Coleman Domingo.
Coleman Domingo.
Fake.
Yeah,
one of the 5 Best Actor nominees for his role in Sing Sing. Coleman Domingo. Actor, not soccer player. All right, that's 1. See if we can get 3 more. Round number 4. Luca De La Torre. Luca De La Torre. Real or fake San Diego FC player?
That's real.
It's real.
Real, yeah. Midfielder for San Diego FC. Very good. That's 2. We're back to even. All right, round number 5. Paul Tazewell. Paul Tazewell. Real or fake SDFC player?
What do you think it would be?
He's like, don't ask me.
Paul Tazewell. Fake.
He says fake, Julian.
Yeah, I'll agree with him. I'll go fake.
Good. He designed the costumes for Wicked. Very nice. All right, you're 1 away from a win.
I love his work.
All right, let's go Christopher McVeigh. Christopher McVeigh.
I know this one.
Real or fake? Julian?
Real.
Real.
It's a defender for
SDSU.
Buddy!
Yeah, nice comeback.
Nice comeback. Would CJ Dos Santos?
SDFC.
He's your goalkeeper.
That's
Very
right.
good. All right, guys. Good job, Julian. Stay on the line. Paulie will get your information, put you into the grand prize drawing.
Whew.
I was surprised how fake sounding the Oscar nominees were.
I know.
Remember when you at least heard, even if you hadn't seen the movies.
Yeah.
You had heard of all the actors and actresses. Coleman Domingo.
It does make you feel
a Best Actor nominee.
It makes you feel old, man. It's like I'm definitely not keeping up with pop culture and things. I watched the preview last night for The Brutalist. It looks incredible. I mean, it's long and drawn out, I'm sure, but it really, really looks incredible. So I want to watch that. But Anora was brilliant. Brilliant movie.
All right. We've got a shout out to his family for a broadcasting legend that we can get to when we come back. Paulie, that just made me laugh. So when we talk about our spots, he gives us a little sign.
He holds up a whiteboard.
And I said earlier, you don't have to write it all out. You can just abbreviate it.
Like instead of writing out,
do you still have? Did you
I still
erase
got
it yet?
SD fat loss.
Instead of writing out 7 Mile Casino, and I gotta take this.
He got his cap. It comes off, and he writes down for us what our next
put
spot
7,
is.
right?
Yeah.
You guys will know it's 7 Mile Casino.
Yeah, 7.
So SD fat loss is coming up. So I just wrote fat.
I knew what he meant, but I've never had someone hold up a sign at me that said fat.
It's so mean.
Like you probably
yes, I know I could lose some.
You probably could have held up that sign for me a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, I had definitely put.
How did you gain all the weight?
I would see our videos that we played during our show, and I just didn't. It really kind of embarrassed me, honestly, that I let it get out of control. So they came to me about the SDFatLoss.com program. And I said, yeah, I'll give this a try. I've tried other plans. They haven't really worked for me. Definitely couldn't keep the weight off. But this one did. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. And if you follow their program, you can expect similar results, up to a pound of fat loss per day, 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 2 months without any injections or drugs. And you don't have to buy any shakes or bars or mixes. You don't have to exercise. In fact, they tell you, just don't for a couple of months. Just follow the program, lose the weight, change your life, and then they'll help you keep it off with their maintenance plan. And I have kept it off for more than a year and a half now. It's not just me. Scraby lost 40 pounds. Chris lost 37 pounds. You can do it as well. Just sign up for your free consultation by going to SDFatLoss.com. Tell them Ben sent you. You're going to get $200 off here in the month of February. It's already a life-changing program. Might as well take advantage and save some money on it as well. You're going to be so happy once the weight is off. I know I was. More energy, less pain in my knees and my back. You sleep better. My sleep apnea went away because I think SDFatLoss.com. Give them a try. Set up your free consultation. Then no one holds up a sign that says fat when you're about to talk at SDFatLoss.com.
got into a heavy debate in here. Our boss Adam came in, and we'd blown his mind about the SDFC thing we talked about earlier. That if you already have Apple TV, you have to pay extra for the MLS package,
which is how we believe it does work.
Yeah,
I mean, you've already paid extra.
I did it. I paid the $79. Now I have all the access to the MLS that I could ever want or hope to have, and I have it. And he came in, and I think what he was doing is I think he was hinting around that he wanted me to share my password with him, and I don't really do that.
Hey.
He thinks, he was like, well, should I buy one for the station and can we all share it? And I said, well, thanks for doing that now after I already dropped $80. But here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want to go watch an MLS game and have to log in with Adam.Klug and put his password in. He gets a code. Then, hey, Adam, can you send me that code real quick so I can put it in?
I guess, and my point was, and this is going to sound bad, I get it, but
oh boy.
I mean, if you were Roger Ebert and you're reviewing movies, they send you the movies for free, and then you watch them, and then you give your review because it's good for the movie to have Roger Ebert talking about your movie on his Siskel and Ebert show, correct?
Yes.
So wouldn't it be good for like San Diego FC to provide like sports media in town with the access to watch where they don't have to pay for it? At least they're watching and they might talk about it if they watch the game. But if you make everybody pay for everything, no one can pay for absolutely every bit of content other than Woods. He pays for everything full price all the time. We know.
Yeah.
But most people have to make tough decisions about that. And I certainly wouldn't want, like Paulie just said, I was excited about SDFC. I don't know that I want to jump in with my own money, $100, to pay for the season package when I've never even really watched an MLS game before. Get me as a fan, get me hooked, and then maybe I'll pay it. That's bad news now. Now, Paulie's probably not going to be watching the game, so he's not going to want to talk about the games.
Don't worry.
If I'm San Diego FC, I know you will, but if I'm San Diego FC, I go, that's a problem for me. If even
you've got a
like
problem.
Local media in town are going, I don't know if I want to pay for this service yet. I don't even know what it is, how it is. You're asking a lot right off the bat.
So you're essentially asking for special media treatment.
Yes.
To be fair, I am not asking for that.
All right.
Doesn't every industry have some sort of special, whatever if you work at a car dealership, I'm assuming you get some employee pricing on a car. You get some, everyone has their own perks in their business.
Yeah, you're not,
I'm in the sports media business.
Correct.
There are perks to
Don't
being
you get
in the
enough
sports
free
media
stuff?
business.
How much free stuff do you
Not
guys
that much,
need?
actually.
Yeah, but a guy that works for Range Rover doesn't go to Firestone to get his oil changed and goes, I'm in the business. Give me my discount.
Right.
This is too far afield, you're saying.
But hold on. We're on the Padres flagship. I still pay for Padres
Which
games.
you probably shouldn't have to pay for Padres games either.
Huh. I go back and forth. I never want to be perceived as cheap, so I go the other way. I go the other way, and I go too much.
You're doing a good job of that.
No one's better, actually. No one's better. I'm the only guy to ever pay above sticker price for a car. Hey, we're gonna give it to you for $29. No, I'll take.
Be seen as cheap.
Let's do it for $40. Let's do it. Yeah, 29 sticker. I'll give you 40. All right.
Watch. By Sunday, Ben will have switched to T-Mobile.
Oh yeah.
Just to get the free.
I don't know. I do
MLS
need my
package.
data plans, and I don't want to have to be counting the data every second of the month.
So, Casita Pro Dev says, can't you guys get a media credential and go watch the game? I think so.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Not the road. I mean, not the road games.
Right.
Like, I'm not going up to L.A. or St. Louis for all the road games. I mean, I can go to the home games when I'm available on Saturday nights.
Zach says, I work at an insurance company. I don't get free insurance for everything.
You shouldn't you?
Media people are so spoiled. I've learned that being in the media. It's very spoiled. When I moved to town,
I want to know. Everybody, presumably most people in our chat have a job. What's the best perk of your job?
I mean, we get to go to spring training and interview baseball players.
I know
what
what the best perks of my job are. I want to know what, everyday jobs, whatever your job is, like what is the best perk of being in insurance? Is there no perks at all to being in insurance?
Yeah, good question.
I've never worked in insurance. I've got no idea.
I don't even know how insurance works. You know that, so I don't know much about anything. Like when I worked at a bar, At a restaurant, you get your shift meal.
You're shifty.
Shift beer.
You get your shift beer. Hey, don't drink it in front of customers. So just go back to sitting back there sucking down a Coors Light before you leave.
Walk-in fridge. Been there.
Me too, dude. Me too. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So how are you going to watch these games? Because you're not spending $79. Are you going to wait for Kluger? Are you going to wait for Kluger?
I'm going to hem and haw for a while before I actually pull the trigger.
I do
want to watch the game.
Well, I think what's going to happen is later on, Ben's going to get an email or something from it. He's put it out on his platform. He's put it out there. Somebody from SDFC is going to listen, and they're going to go. It's a thing like. You know that you don't, when you have a new product, you don't want to just give it away. Does that you don't want to just give it away to everyone and hope that they come around. You have to know your value and your worth.
Is that how drug dealers work too?
I mean, yes, it's true.
The first one,
you may get a taste, but after that, man, it's full price.
Well, I at least want my taste.
Well,
is there a free trial?
What's it taste? One day, one game?
I don't know.
MLB, for example.
Am I going to get hooked that fast? I get drugs work that way. Does MLS soccer work as fast?
I can't get enough. I just can't get enough. You got any more of that MLS?
Ganja, a.k.a. cannabis.
What's the MLB package? Not the team specific one. It's like $250, $200.
I think it's season. I think it's cheaper now. I want to say it's like $159 a year.
Call it $150.
I don't pay extra for Padres. I have whatever my package includes the Padres on my cable essentially.
You pay for cable too?
I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got a bundle. I'm bundled right now because I have to switch. So I switched and. My current bundle includes cable, and then in a few months, I'll have to switch to something else.
My point with the MLB package is all of spring training is usually free, and they'll do the first week of the regular season.
Yeah.
Free preview week or something to get you to watch it, see if you like it, and want to commit to paying for it. Why wouldn't MLS do the same thing with Apple TV, which you're already paying for?
That's the one thing that sticks out for me is I already pay for Apple TV. You guys have the rights.
Hey,
just
you already
give
pay
me
for
the
Peacock,
games.
but if you want to watch The Office, you also have to pay another $9.99 a month.
Yeah, Notre Dame plays on Peacock, so I still get to watch those games.
Defending myself, let me put this another way. Are there a lot of jobs out there that you can't do your job without constantly paying extra fees and things? I mean, is that fair to ask anybody in their job? To do your job correctly, you're going to have to sign up for $500-$600 a month of stuff.
It's a good point.
Just to do your job.
It's a good point because for me, I can't do my job.
I mean, technically, maybe Odyssey should be paying for all my subscriptions so I can do my job. Do you think Adam's going to do that, though?
The big, fat, resounding no.
That's what I think, too. But to do my job, technically, I need to be able to watch the Padres. I need to be able to watch San Diego FC. I need all these subscriptions to do my job properly. Am I the one who has to pay for every single one of them to do my job?
It's a tax write-off, whatever that means.
Oh, there you go.
Whatever that means.
You ever see that Seinfeld? He goes, just write it off. He goes, you don't even know what a write-off is. He goes, do you? And he goes, no, I don't. It's a tax write-off. We just write it off at the end of the year. So just write it off. This is the one that kills me. This is the one that absolutely murders me, and it's become a bit of a cause célèbre for this show. Satan's Blowfish. First years of teaching are pretty expensive, paying for induction and certifications. Not only that, every single year it makes me sick to my stomach, revolted, to see teachers having to put out Amazon wish lists for markers and pens and books and bins to hold this stuff. It makes me sick.
Necessity.
It makes me sick. And if I could stock your classrooms, each one of you, I would do it.
I know Shawshank made the guards buy their own guns and uniforms, but Andy was able to get that written off for them.
That old bitter guy said, no, pay for it. Your holster too? Yeah. Pay for my holster. Oh, it's so good.
Caitlin says my mom is a teacher and has to buy her own paper.
It's insane.
Paper.
It is insane to me, man. It's insane to me. I have no problem paying for kids' food or kids' supplies at school. That's where they should get all this. Teachers should walk in there day one and be like, Oh, my God. Look at this setup. I'm so set. Now I get to focus on teaching your children.
Imagine walking into 97.3 and this microphone wasn't here. Oh, you didn't bring
your own
You
mic?
didn't bring your own microphone. You got to go out and buy these really nice
microphones.
Quality microphones.
It's absurd, man. I feel so bad for teachers every year. It's revolting that it happens, man.
All right, a little bit of a segue there. First, this segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is there to help. Their recruitment professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. You work for Robert Half, you got free jobs for everybody. It's
Free,
just a perk.
it's just one of the
Just a perk.
But no, like it would be rad if they said, "Oh no, you can expense your MLB if you wanted to get MLB, NBA, the NFL, just expense it every month." I mean, that's kind of how we have to do our gigs, but it's one of those things I look at it as like a necessary, as like not an evil, but like it's just a necessary part of the gig that I need to be informed on it. So, how do you feel about music? You think music should be free?
Well, no, my job doesn't really involve music.
It's true.
So I shouldn't get free music.
But you like sports a lot. So even if you
It's true.
Even if you
That's
weren't
kind of why
doing
I chose
this as a job.
That's why I chose this business, though. Otherwise, then I have to be paying for lots of sports.
It's true.
So I went into this field.
Shout out to all the teachers out there.
Speaking of shout-outs, get a shout-out to his family right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring. Got a stalled car in middle lane, southbound side of the 15 before Adams Avenue. Also, southbound 5 to the eastbound 8 connector ramp remains blocked as crews take care of a paint spill from yesterday. They're hoping to have that reopened by noon today. Keep you posted on that. Southbound side of the 15 at Valley Parkway, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles. One's in middle lanes, the other over to the right shoulder. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Before the shout out to his family, our buddy Brian Sims makes a good point in my DMs. He said, now, if you're in entertainment media, you brought up Siskel and Ebert, right? Yes, they get free screeners and subscriptions to streaming services for review purposes. It's so heavily controlled and watermarked on the screen, it's impossible to share.
Yeah.
So what if they gave you like a really crappy version?
Well, I'm not going to share mine with anything.
Right,
yeah.
but like... have you ever watched a watermark movie?
I have.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's not the best.
The worst. So what if the sports, like, we'll give you a free subscription, but it's cutting in and out and watermarked across it. It says Ben Higgins across the screen. Pass. I'd rather pay the $80.
I'll take it.
You will take it.
I will. We had Don Orsillo on yesterday at this time. The reaction was incredible, as you'd imagine. Don is beloved. He's become the voice of San Diego over these last almost 10 years now, I think, that he's been in town. I think he came in 2016. And the guy who was kind of a Don Orsillo type in Pittsburgh was their hockey announcer, Mike Lang, a legend calling Pittsburgh Penguins games for decades. And he passed away yesterday at the age of 76. Even if you don't know hockey, you've probably heard some of his calls. Very, very distinctive in his calls and his catchphrases. Paulie's got a little snippet of Mike Lang for you.
Guerin's got the puck to Crosby. Rich shot. He shoots and scores. Oh, get in the fast lane, Grandma. The bingo game is ready to roll. Oh, scratch my back with a hacksaw. Wallin doesn't know whether to cry or wind his watch. Jaromir Jagr beats Luongo like a rented mule. 5 seconds to go. Loose around to the far corner. 2 seconds. The Penguins are going to win the Stanley Cup, I believe. Chilio shoots it blocked. The Penguins have won the Stanley Cup. Oh, Lord Stanley, get me the brandy.
He had a million of them. I mean, that was just it was his shtick, but he was also part of the fabric of Pittsburgh. He loved the Penguins. He loved hockey. He loved Pittsburgh. Passed away yesterday at the age of 76. And, you can just imagine how we'd feel. I remember when Jerry Coleman passed away. and just the devastating feeling of losing just someone who's just part of your evenings.
Yeah,
and you
part of your
listen to
life,
them all
man.
the time. So
they feel like family.
Wanted to do a little shout out to his family for Mike Lang, the legendary Pittsburgh Penguins broadcaster.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
And it all comes as hockey takes center stage tonight. 5 o'clock face-off from Boston, the TD Garden, as Team USA takes on Team Canada in the championship game of the Four Nations face-off, which has been the highly successful replacement for the All-Star week festivities for the NHL this year.
Boston, you say?
Boston, yes.
I expect everybody to be on their best behavior.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, after what happened in Canada when they were, they booed the national anthem, I would imagine that's going to be reciprocated in Boston tonight when they play Oh Canada. But what I'm wondering is there going to be 3 fights in 9 seconds like there was in the last game as well.
I'd kind of be disappointed if there was.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? I want to see it.
I'll be watching.
Let's set the tone.
I mean, I kind of accidentally watched that last one. I will on purpose be watching tonight to see what
100%.
happens between Team USA and Canada. All right, we've got our biggest fan announcement coming up to start our 9 o'clock hour next. Reindl Report still to come as well. More Ben and Woods on the way on 97.3 The Fan. Have spring training Sammy joining us here in a couple of minutes. He is locked and loaded from the Peoria Sports Complex. Tomorrow we will have Padres baseball for you right here on 97.3 The Fan. Noon, first pitch with Jesse and Tony calling the Padres and the Mariners. We did hear yesterday from Sammy that Ryan Burgert going to start. I believe he'll have some news on us for the Game 2 starter on Saturday as well. But I'll make you wait for that and let Sammy deliver it himself. First, though, before we bring Sammy on, so got to give our biggest fan announcement for the day. It's 9 o'clock. It's the rule. Right at 9 o'clock, we announce the first biggest fan of the day. If you hear your name called, you're going to have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973 and qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. You can register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. But today, right now, it's Jonah Regina of Poway. Why would you laugh at someone's name? That's mean, Woods.
Because it's funny.
Jonah Regina of Poway. Could be Regina as well. They don't give me pronunciation.
There's a Reindl Report story maybe like a year or two ago. Canadian town, Regina, was in a little bit of hot water for like their new tourism slogan. It was Regina, Canada, the city that rhymes with fun.
Clever. Give that to them. That was clever. All right, be watching for the phones, Paulie, as we go out to spring training Sammy.
I wonder if he ever got his balls broken when he was a kid.
Jonah?
Poor guy. It's Regina! I told you, idiots.
Regina.
Regina.
Sam, you save us from this.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sammy.
How are you?
I'm good.
Now this poor guy's mortified to call in now, I guarantee it.
You know, I was listening to the first segment this morning. I've never shaved after taking a shower in my entire life.
Really?
I always shave before the shower. Yes, I was shocked to hear that was something you all agreed on.
Well,
shaving after you take the shower.
So you want to soften the beard with the hot water. Now, you can do it in the sink, but it's messier.
Right.
It's kind of a beating. You get the good. It's nice and soft after. Now, if you're going to go electric, you go before.
Yeah.
But with a razor, you get in, you get all.
I do both.
All hot.
I do
both?
razor first, and then I clean up a little bit with the electric.
No wonder you are so baby-faced.
I get very close. I like a very, very clean shaven face.
He's got
days,
very
if I'm
little
going to be in the public.
hair at all on his face. I mean, we see nothing but face.
Am I
on
slovenly
Sammy.
because I have this facial hair? I wonder it.
I mean, I wouldn't say slovenly. I mean, facial hair is very common nowadays.
Yeah, it's true. But
I mean, it's not the cleanest look, I guess.
But I am a sports radio host. You know what I mean? I'm not out meeting clients and stuff like that.
As long as there's no crumbs.
There's no crumbs or anything. There's no ham in my beard or anything. So.
All right, Sammy, what's the news of the day from Peoria, Arizona?
News of the day, I would say we do know some things about the next couple of days. The first two Cactus League games, tomorrow against the Mariners and then Saturday against the A's. Like we said yesterday, right-hander Ryan Burgert will start game one tomorrow at the Peoria Sports Complex. We do know the rest of the pitching lineup. It includes some pretty highly touted prospects, right-hander Bradley, or it might be Bradley. We're still working on that. Rodriguez. We've got left-hander Omar Cruz will throw tomorrow. Nice. We have right-hander Francis Pena will throw tomorrow. So some pretty high-octane relievers and guys that have pitched at the upper levels of the minor leagues that are pretty highly touted in the organization. Number of other guys that will pitch tomorrow as well after Ryan Burgert. We also know that right-hander Matt Waldron is scheduled to start on Saturday against the A's. So the first two starters of the Cactus League will be Burgert and then Waldron. I can also tell you that with back-to-back home games tomorrow and Saturday, you'll have a little mix of regulars and not regulars in the lineup the next couple of days. So I don't know that we'll see everybody in the lineup tomorrow. Probably will be some guys, some regulars in the lineup Friday, and then another group in the lineup Saturday with the back-to-back home games and it being very, very early in the Cactus League season. So those are the major updates as far as the two games coming up.
Talking to spring training Sammy Levitt out there in Peoria right now. Sammy, who's anybody turning some heads in the last couple of days? I don't mean Dylan Cease's beard, but anybody on the bumps in the backfield that are turning some heads out there?
Yeah, I would say I thought Ron Marinaccio looked very good yesterday. That to me is becoming a real interesting part of this spring training, the fact that this bullpen is so deep, and I think that there's essentially one open spot out of 8 spots. I count 7 locks in that bullpen. Now, obviously, it's a long spring. You never know what happens. Obviously, injuries do happen. You don't wish it on anybody, but it's a part of the game. And throughout the year, you're going to need guys. So I thought Ron Marinaccio, he threw after Darvish at the stadium yesterday. If you look at Ron's numbers, very, very good with the Yankees organization, a guy the Padres acquired from the White Sox for cash in late January. I don't know that it got a ton of attention, but you look at his numbers, it's been pretty good, and he's got some experience, and I think he's a real candidate for that final bullpen spot. And I'll also say we talked to him yesterday on my show and his interviews on social media. Really good friends with Michael King. Seems like a really good guy as well. So excited to see what he continues to do. From a position player standpoint, I haven't personally seen anything super notable, albeit it's live BP, so we're going to see what happens starting tomorrow once we get into these games. I will say in the same breath of battles, position battles, and competition, I think we all understand that there are likely 3 spots, if you include the catchers, as far as position players, 3 spots that are open on this team right now. Or by my count, I count 10 locks and 3 open spots. And to me, the competition for those spots are wide open. And I spoke to a guy today that probably has not got a ton of attention, and that is Mike Brasso, who has a bevy of experience in the major leagues. Played with the Brewers, played with the Rays, has power, has primarily been a corner infield type, but also plays second base. So he's very versatile defensively, can play a little outfield as well. And again, you look at the bench spots. I mean, if Mike Brasso shows up here and does some really, really good things, I mean, I would imagine he'll have a real shot to make this team. Has an interesting story, undrafted, made it to the major leagues, and, has some good friends in that clubhouse already that he's played with in the past. So, look, I think you can probably make a case and kind of give the background on any of these guys that are competing for these spots, and we'll see who turns heads, Woodsy, as the days go along here. I don't know if that from an offensive side I've seen anything that's been super, super crazy, but, Marinaccio looked good yesterday. I've told you about Pena and Cruz and how they performed against those star-laden BP groups. So, we'll see as things keep rolling here.
Sammy posted a lot of great content yesterday. We played some Luis Arraez earlier, but my favorite piece of content was going over to the stadium for Yu Darvish throwing and testing out the ABS challenge system. The video just showing how it works, I thought was fascinating. What were your impressions as you watched it in action with players, challenging the balls and strikes?
Yeah, I think we should note that this was obviously them just testing it out as Yu was throwing a live BP at the stadium, which I told you I had never seen before in my 3 spring trainings here, but I'm happy he did it because we got a chance to see it, and they're going to use it starting tomorrow with the Real Cactus League game. So I thought it was cool. It was a very casual type of thing. Like there was, I think the first challenge we had, you could see, and you faced minor league hitters. I mean, these guys, it was just one after another minor league guys that were getting up there with a bat trying to get their crack at facing Yu Darvish. So, I would imagine these guys may have been a little bit timid to start challenging calls, even though they were utilizing the system. But, so it was kind of casual. Like there was a point yesterday where you could kind of see some of these minor league hitters like being like, should I actually do it? And you would actually hear some of the staff members from the stand saying, challenge it, because everybody wanted to see it. So we had it a few times, and I will say it was cool. I mean, even in the very casual setting we were in, after the batter or the catcher, at least Diaz did it a couple of times as well, tapped their head, I would say within 5 to 7 seconds, that animation went up on the video board. The animation's very quick. Maybe it's 3 to 4 seconds max. You see the ball come in, you see the camera or the animated camera turn, and you see where the ball lands in relation to the strike zone. It literally told you how many inches it was off the strike zone. I would say the whole thing was completed in, I don't know, 10 to 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody at least yesterday there that then had a little microphone and said, the call has been overturned. I think I only saw overturned calls yesterday. So you got some strikes turned into balls yesterday. But it was cool. I mean, we'll see how it actually works. I've always heard rave reviews about it from minor league players, minor league broadcasters. And from what I saw, I'm a fan. I think more than anything, it adds a little excitement. Like, it reminds you of the tennis system where you see the ball land and you can see if it got a sliver of the line or missed the line or whatever it might be. I think it adds a little drama, a little excitement. It was very, very quick. It'll lead to getting more calls right. So I think it has the potential, based on just the small sample I saw, to be a pretty interesting, cool thing, and maybe a nice little perfect blend of the human element and adding some tech.
Last thing, and Woods, I saw you repost this, and I don't know who got the original. It was from Fernando Tatis's Instagram account.
Good God, man.
And it was a batting practice like pitch that it sounded like nothing I've ever heard.
Cannon blast.
And then it flew over the fence and hit some sort of structure out in like left field. Did you see this, Sammy? On stuff?
No.
Yeah, it's something he did for Victus, which is his bat company.
Goodness gracious! And I couldn't even. Was it the main field? I couldn't even figure out what field he was on. He hit the ball so incredibly far. I was amazed, and I wondered if you had seen that.
Was he
or
using
not.
like some special kind of bat?
Well, it was a Victus, but they make the pencil bats that all the little kids use now, and it's really funny. And me just yelling at them to sharpen their pencils during t-ball or baseball practice. It was like a special Victus bat, but I don't know.
Here's the sound.
Here's the sound.
Just listen.
Even if you're not watching.
God.
Hey, is that augmented? Wow. Was that real? I mean, it sounds like a special effect from a movie.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good mic. Almost.
Yeah, right on it.
Yeah, interesting.
And you hear
in the background. And then you eventually hear the ball hitting like the roof of something.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look. It's interesting during this time of year, and I don't know if people realize this, but there is so much of that stuff as far as shoots for various things. Just on the Padres production side, like many of the Padres production people are here, and they are working really hard. They do a great job, and they do everything from the photos to the animations you see on the video board. They've got a tent in the parking lot set up where they'll do a lot of the video board things and the really cool things you see throughout the season. So it's a big time of year for stuff like that, and players are constantly doing stuff like that these first couple of weeks. And a lot of people here from the Padres outside the baseball ops part of it that are working really hard to make things cool at Petco Park this year.
Sammy, have a great rest of your Friday or Thursday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on Friday.
Okay, Cactus League opener tomorrow.
There we go. Looking forward to it.
Get ready.
Get it
Spring
on.
training.
For it.
Sammy from the Peoria Sports Complex. We got some tickets to AEW Dynamite, another pair of tickets to give away coming up in our next segment. First, though, make sure that you have your documents in order. If something should happen to you, I know you don't want to think about it. Woods and I didn't want to think about it either, which is why neither of us had filled out a trust or a will. But they showed us how simple it was at trustandwill.com over the holidays. We did it, spent our 20 minutes or so answering some quick questions, and then you get your documents shipped to you, and you've got something that you can put in a file, and if something happens to you, your family can just pull it out, and it just can save so much hassle and heartache if you just put it down on paper.
Well, and you've heard the phrase, get your ducks in a row. This is very important if you have a family and you want to make sure that everyone gets what they're entitled to. And mostly, you got to get the trust because it keeps your family out of probate court. It's very lengthy. It's very costly and can be not the most fun for somebody that's already lost a loved one. So make sure you get the trust as well at trustandwill.com. Go to trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego, all one word, San Diego. Say it real fast. San Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego. When you check out, you'll get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plans. Do it. Get your documents. Forget about it.
No need to take a trip to a lawyer's office.
Right.
You can do it all from the comfort of your own home.
Super simple.
And then you don't have to think about it again ever. It's like you just have the peace of mind that comes with having your estate all planned for you at trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com. Got some good news during our conversation with Sammy Levitt. Jonah did indeed call in.
Jonah who?
Jonah Regina called in. He was our biggest fan from Poway.
The last name that rhymes with fun.
And he said that is, I pronounced it correctly.
Yeah, I said, thanks for letting us have some fun. I hope we didn't offend you. He said, no, I've heard it all.
He said, literally, that's what I said. He caught some grief when he was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And it is Regina.
Yeah.
So if he wins, the Odyssey suite will be packed with Reginas.
Which is bring up to 20 of his friends and family.
Yeah.
So all the Reginas.
All the Reginas can come. That's awesome.
Be there.
It's a big Regina party, if you will.
A Regina fest.
What are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing. You're laughing.
You're laughing.
No,
I didn't
laughing.
say anything.
It's not funny. It's the man's name.
It's a suite full of Reginas. It's great. It's everybody's dream. I hope he wins. I'll be sure to stop by that night if he does win. Rest assured.
I bet you would, Panama Red.
Are you guys the Reginas? There we are. This is us. Go ahead.
What do you want to
cue up some Aztecs or something? I know, yeah. Sure. Tell me about the Lakers last night. I can't wait.
I did watch
Rui
the Lakers.
Hachimura. How did he do? It's great.
They blew a 11-point halftime lead, 23-1 run for the Charlotte Hornets, who aren't good. And Lakers lost 197 last night. Luka is not quite locked in yet. I mean,
what do you have, about 14?
Yeah, like
12?
14. Yeah. All kinds of in and out, misses, and it's not the kind of game that you would expect the Lakers to be losing because they lost to Utah right before they looked fantastic the first couple of days with Luka. Now it's kind of been a little rough the last couple of games. I was actually more interested in the college game last night, Boise State and New Mexico. Some people a little surprised that Mountain West leader New Mexico went down at home, I believe, against Boise. No, it was in Boise, but it wasn't close. The final score was 86-78, but Boise was up 20 in the second half, a team that San Diego State just beat pretty handily and swept in the regular season. So that is now New Mexico's second Mountain West loss, which reduces their lead over Utah State to 1 and San Diego State to 2 with 5 games left in conference play.
Right.
And, of course, the next game for the Lobos is against the Aztecs. They have a bye this weekend, so they'll come to Viejas Arena next Tuesday after the Aztecs go to Utah State on Saturday. If the Aztecs win both of those games, they will be within a game of first place going in down the stretch. The problem is New Mexico doesn't really have any other challenging games. I think their toughest opponent is home against Nevada, but pretty sure they still have an Air Force game left and one other against one of the bottom kind of teams in the conference. So even if they lost to San Diego State, they would still be up by a game.
Air Force, Nevada, and UNLV after
and UNLV,
San Diego State.
All right, UNLV could. I mean, it's possible.
It's a home game for New Mexico.
Yeah, it's a home game. So, I mean, it's not out of the question that San Diego State could catch them now.
Here's the thing. Winning your conference, it doesn't punch your ticket to the tournament or
no,
anything like that. But I think if they just win the next 2, they'll be in.
Yeah. If San Diego State wins out, for sure, I think they've got an at-large bid. I think even if they lost one of the next 2 and they won every other game, I think they'd be pretty comfortable for an at-large bid. If they lose both of them, then it starts getting dicey. You might have to win the Mountain West tournament. So these next 2,
as it stands, they're on most people's last 4 in on the bubble.
And I know it's all computers and metrics and things like that, but does legacy and pedigree have...
They're humans making the decisions ultimately.
Yeah.
So they'll say no. That has no bearing.
But
on
if it comes
their
down
season,
to, hey, we can put blank in or we can put the Aztecs in,
whether it's actually spoken aloud, I have to imagine that some of those people in the room, as they're making their decisions and going, these 2 resumes are so similar.
They're so similar.
San Diego State went to the Final Four a couple of years ago. Well, let's give them another chance to get in the tournament. I don't know. I mean,
if Kentucky was ever a bubble team, it's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky.
You got to put them in. It's Kentucky.
I mean, they wouldn't say that out loud. But I got to think that they think it a little bit.
Well, and it's I guess now at this point in the season too, Benny, before you get to the Mountain West tournament, it's not only if you lose, it's how you lose. It's not only if you win, it's kind of how you win. This is where all of those things become really important. Like we talked about yesterday with the win against Boise State. Like you won by what, 23? You could have won by 30, which would have helped you. But Brian Dutcher said, I'm not going to do that. But Maybe you should. Now, I don't think it's going to happen with these next two opponents.
Right. Now, on the road to Utah State, that's a tough
Now, these are both probably
altitude up there?
Yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
Man.
In Utah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you see what Kansas did at BYU this week?
Yeah.
That was by like 40.
Yeah. Altitude will get you.
The Big 12 teams are not used to the Mountain West travel going to Utah and BYU. It's like it's a nightmare for them. But yeah, I mean, they're going to Utah State. Utah State beat San Jose State 105-57. This was a team the Aztecs were trailing by 23 against.
Yeah, they had to go on two 20-0
21 runs
to win, and Utah State beat them.
I mean,
by
Utah
50.
State's also a team that the Aztecs led by 18 the first meeting. Now they blew it and lost on the buzzer beater 3, but
forgotten about that.
I was there for that one.
Oh, you were there.
That was it was the one they were up 18 in the first half, and then slowly it got whittled away until the last shot with 1 second left.
They were up I think they were up 15 going into half, but then in the last 30 seconds of the first half, that 15-point lead was down to 7.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, figure it out, and then they just kept chipping away, and then lost it at the end at home. Tough one.
So these are both, I think, quad 1 games.
It'd be a great win on Saturday.
So they're not going to hurt you terribly if you lose, but you kind of need one of them just to push you up off of that bubble at least. So that's what's coming up for San Diego State Saturday and Tuesday, probably the biggest 2 remaining games of the regular season for the Aztecs that are ahead. All right, it is time for us to give away another pair of tickets to AEW Dynamite. It's coming to Front Wave Arena, the brand new arena in Oceanside, on February 26th. That is next week. Tickets are on sale now at AEWTix.com, AEWTIX.com. But if you're the fourth caller at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, you can win a pair of tickets here from 97.3 The Fan. I know if you are into it, this is a big event, so call quickly because I know we've had a lot of callers for these tickets. Oh,
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0004666.
Reindl Report is coming up next after we tell you about 7 Mile Casino.
Yes.
Go ahead, Woodsy.
Oh, you want me to start?
Yeah,
I'd be happy to tell you how much we love 7 Mile Casino. Got all the card games that you love to play. Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, Baccarat. What's the other one I'm missing? California Style Blackjack.
Yes,
my number one
game.
favorite game.
I was trying to think of the other ones.
Yeah.
But that's usually your first on the list.
It is my favorite. That's where I feel like I feel like I know what I'm doing the most.
I actually talked to my son the other day. I said we should go because he's never
been.
He's 21 now.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he hasn't
you gotta
been yet,
take him.
So I feel like
get
we
him
gotta
hooked
go down
on.
there.
Get him hooked on. It's great.
because that's what all good fathers do. But I thought he would have fun because he's kind of got a mathematical mind. He said he wants to do blackjack. So
100%.
We're going to do some California style blackjack sometime soon. He likes Sammy's, so we're going to go and have a meal.
Perfect.
Have
A
a lunch.
21-year-old son. This is perfect.
I know. This sounds like a fun outing that we've got in our future.
No question. And go in there. It's smoke-free environment. No slot machines either, so that's a plus for me. The best part, just 7 minutes from downtown San Diego. You really can't beat it. So do us a solid. Check them out. Go to 7 Mile Casino today and have a great time when you do it. Just 7 minutes from downtown. Get him hooked on blackjack. Yeah. You want...
Last segment of Ben and Woods today is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. They're recruiting professionals utilizing award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. What do you have on the docket for the rest of the day, Woods?
Getting a haircut.
Haircut.
Yep, marriage counseling, haircut, and going to go do some baseball workout with a buddy.
You personally?
Yeah.
Not coaching your
No,
kids.
no,
but
coach,
your
I got-
own, because you've got your season coming up.
Yeah, we start on Sunday.
Ooh.
Yeah, excited, man. So excited.
And you're up a league this year.
Yeah, we moved up a league. Already, I know the dude we're facing on Sunday. He's nasty, throws real hard, big, tall righty. Like, I know, this is it. So we got some additions to the Tier 1 team. It's going to be a big challenge, but it keeps me, like, wanting to go out and take grounders on a Thursday. It keeps me, like, engaged. And I got 2 baseball practices this weekend, got a Seals game this weekend. It's gonna be a busy one. A lot of baseball though. Excited about it. But you, golf?
Today is just a work day for me.
Work
I'm gonna
day?
pick up my car again from the mechanic. I think they've got it dialed in now.
Has your car been in the mechanic every day? For
Every
the last
day.
The
month?
last
like a
couple of
month.
weeks, it's been a bit of a coolant issue that we've been dealing with, but I think they've got all the leaks plugged.
Cool.
Patch. Are you excited to drive it to Arizona?
Yeah,
in
exactly.
5
Well, it's
days?
better to do it now than
Yes.
find out on the middle of the road somewhere in Gila Bend.
Yeah, I agree.
That your car is not working.
I
So,
agree.
I'm glad that I'll be getting it back in time for the trip next week. Since I'm up there, I probably will stop by Costco. Kids are asking, "Hey, when's your next running low on supplies?" Dad, we don't have bread.
Let me tell you
Dad, we
something.
don't have frozen taquitos. Dad, we're short on milk. Can you go to Costco for us?
Both of your kids are old enough to drive.
They're
They
not
both
Costco
drive.
members, though.
So what?
I'm not going to make them buy a Costco membership.
If my kid called me and he was above 16 and said,
No, and
we need bread.
My son went to the store to get his own. He has his own stuff that he goes to the store and
Does
gets.
he label it?
No, but I don't think I want to eat anything that he gets anyway. Diet, Mountain Dew, whatever those, I don't know, whatever kids drink nowadays. I have no interest in his taste.
Celsius.
But staples, like I
Yeah.
can still provide staples like bread, and I'm going to get them anyway, milk. I'm not expecting them to do the grocery shopping.
It's not so much that it's the, hey, Dad, when's your next? That's what would bother me.
I know.
If Bo texts me, when's your next Costco run? For what? I need milk and bread. I'd be like, you take your ass to the store and buy your milk and bread. You're much more congenial than I am.
True.
Much
no
more.
doubt about
Much
that.
more
There's
congenial.
No
than I
doubt
am.
about that.
You're like, yeah, I'll stop. I'm on my way to my second job. No problem. What are you guys doing? Enjoying
I'm
yourself?
also particular about what I like. I want what I want.
That's true. At the store?
So at the store,
Yeah.
I like to have the control of getting to choose the brands and everything that I prefer.
Can you add them to Costco membership, or is it just one and done? Because I thought my wife and I share.
My wife
one.
and I share. I don't know if you can put your kids on it though.
I think you just get 2.
I think you just get the
You get two.
Yeah.
Yeah. You take your ass to Costco.
I'm not. Plus, Costco for them, if they're just buying for themselves, it's too much. And I'm not going to expect them to buy for the whole family. I mean, I eat, the bread and milk.
But
as
see,
well.
like the thing is, like if I had to go to my other job, I'd be like, just you go do it, Dillhole, and I'll reimburse you. That's what I would make them run errands. You make them run errands? I'd make them run errands like crazy.
Rarely.
I can't wait till my kids can drive.
Really?
I'm not doing anything. I'm doing nothing. I'm making them do everything. Yeah, you don't make them run errands?
No.
Bro, they'd wake up to a list. Pick up my dry cleaning. Go do this. Go do that.
And then
It'd
you'll
be
find
over.
that it's really not done right in the end.
That's fair.
And then you have to do it all over again.
Woo, man. All right.
And I don't think that's just my kids. I think that's
a lot of kids.
general parental issue.
Yeah.
Even if they're trying.
Yeah, they still screw it
They
up.
don't have the experience necessary to.
So are you a bit of a control freak? You're like, I'll just do it because I want it to get done
in
right.
some ways,
Yeah,
yes.
that
In
makes
some
sense.
ways, I just would prefer to handle it myself
Makes
because I
sense.
know it's going to be done the way I want it.
It's
done.
true. It's why I go to the grocery store in my house because you send my wife away. She comes home with stuff. I go, we didn't need a maple pecan spread. We didn't. What is this? She's like, I don't know. I get in there and I panic and I start buying weird stuff. And I'm like, what is this? What is this yogurt? I never once, babe, have eaten this flavor of yogurt. Now, I don't know. I just didn't know what you wanted, so I panicked.
And I don't want to micromanage because I don't want to be the micromanager. So ultimately, it's just better when I do it myself.
You should see. Next time she comes, I'm going to make her go to the stores a bit. And I will take a picture and post the weird stuff she comes home with. Like stuff you've never seen before. But where did you even find that in the store? Oh, it was on a bottom shelf on the back row. What? Nobody in here eats onion bread. What are you doing? I was hungover one time in the last 6 months, once. And I go, she goes, what can I, she was really nice. She goes, what can I get for you? And I said, you know what I want? I just want a bagel. I need a bagel to sop up, last night's Captain and Cokes or whatever. She goes, all right. She goes to the store, comes back, blueberry bagels. And I was like, oh!
Love them.
And I go, what is this? She goes, well, I didn't know. I go, when you don't know, just go plain.
Yeah.
If you don't go fancy if you're unsure.
I agree with
you
that.
just get plain. The most you would do is the sesame seed. The wildest you would get. She's coming home, peanut butter and jelly bagels. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I just wanted a bagel with cream cheese on it. That's it. When in doubt, go basic.
Right.
I need spaghetti. I'm just going to get you basic spaghetti.
Marinara
sauce. Just as basic. Yeah. Not come home with some weird vodka sauce or something. Just basic. Oh, I didn't know. You didn't specify. Makes me insane.
I mean, if you asked for a cookie and I didn't know you or anything,
chocolate chip cookie.
The default,
cookie. Yes.
Just grab whatever.
Chocolate
I'm not
chip.
getting red velvet.
Default.
Dude, yes.
Oatmeal raisin.
Cookie default.
I love oatmeal raisin cookies. But I don't know what you like.
Bagel default is plain.
Yes.
I mean, what other defaults are there here?
I mean,
pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, I would say cheese.
Pizza.
I would actually say cheese. I would say cheese
or pepperoni.
Pizza.
I think either one works. I mean, you should know someone well enough. If they're like not a meat eater, then cheese is the default.
Ice cream,
chocolate or vanilla.
Yeah, straight up.
No
strawberry is a different. You're in a different mood.
That's not default. You have to ask for strawberry.
You got to ask. Coffee, just plain coffee, right? Like you just, when in doubt, just go basic. It's a good
cheese is just cheddar
cheese or American cheese. Yeah, cheddar or American, not Havarti. Yeah, you don't need Munster.
Bread. What's your default bread? Sourdough or white?
White. Not white. The wheat. Yeah, wheat bread.
Default bread.
Yeah. All right.
Let's check traffic, and then we'll get to our Reindl Report to wrap things up.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by ExtremeRoofs.com. All I can say is that must have been a lot of paint that got spilled on that transition ramp southbound 5 to eastbound 8 to still have it closed for cleanup. Yeah, this happened late yesterday morning, so that remains closed for at least another few hours. Hopefully it will be reopened in time for this afternoon's commute because yesterday it was pretty brutal for anyone having to go through that area. Fortunately, we're winding down pretty nicely on our roads this time. The only other thing I see is stalled vehicle on the Friars Road off-ramp of northbound 15. It's over to the right shoulder. The rain season has arrived, and if your roof is leaking or you're finding asphalt shingles in the backyard or the side of the house, call family-owned Extreme Roofing, serving San Diego for over 25 years. 619-334-ROOF. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
We just continue that
still
entire
debating.
conversation.
Default soda is Coke. Now, oddly, the default bagel is definitely not blueberry, but the default muffin
is blueberry. If I said, "Oh God, you know what I want? I want some muffins."
Yeah,
I would expect a blueberry muffin.
Blueberry muffin, yeah.
What is this, bran muffin? I don't want bran. I wanted blueberry.
Like I'm thinking if you're at like an all-you-can-eat buffet or something, and you're sitting down, you're like, "Hey, I'm going up there anyways. You want me to grab you something? Grab me a slice of pie, apple pie."
Apple pie.
Probably apple pie.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you do that, if I've got the kids with me, And we've gone to a couple. The place where I met Shia LaBeouf, right? I had to sit with the kids, and Hannah filled her plate. And she goes, "Do you want me to get you something?" I go, "Sure." And I was like, the basics: eggs, bacon, pancakes, or a waffle or something if they have it.
Default donut is glazed.
Glazed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe chocolate covered for some people.
Yeah.
But mostly glazed. Default lettuce.
Iceberg.
It's iceberg.
Well, always iceberg.
Yes. Don't come back with kale.
No.
If I ask you for lettuce and you come back with
romaine
kale,
or kale,
don't
forget
come
it.
back with kale. Kale is dangerous. Did you see the Dustin May story that how he
I did.
tore his esophagus on lettuce?
You guys buy that?
I don't know.
How does one tear their esophagus on
Kale
lettuce? Was it a
very
crouton?
sharp. I don't know. Kale is very sharp. No, lettuce. It wasn't crouton. It was lettuce.
Can't fathom how that worked out.
I mean, I almost choked to death at fantasy
I've
camp.
eaten kale that feels like I'm swallowing a saw.
Razor blade. Probably because it tastes like ass also. That's the other part of it.
All right. We will get started here. A little college football news. So if you go back just a couple of months ago, before the college football playoffs began, when the final rankings were announced, there was a lot of controversy. And turns out some of the power conference commissioners who make up the committee, or part of the committee, have all agreed, or beginning to all agree, that changing the seeding has to happen next season.
Yes, but it has to be unanimous to change anything.
That's
for
the
next
only
year.
thing.
Yeah.
Can you get everybody to agree? Got to remember, there's 10 people on the committee. It's 11 people? 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame's athletic director.
He'll say yes because Notre Dame can't even get in the top 4 until they change it. This would
auto 5.
This would give them a chance at the top 4.
So ESPN has a good breakdown if you don't remember exactly. Here's how it went down in this past season. So the 4 highest ranked conference champions, they earn the top 4 seeds and a first round bye. And one of the biggest controversies of this was that 9th ranked Boise State, they were ranked 9th out of, top 25 or whatever, the top 12. They were ranked 9th, but they won the Mountain West Conference. So they got the number 3 seed and a bye. And then Arizona State was ranked 12th, the last team into the tournament, but they got the 4 seed.
Right.
And a bye.
And a bye.
Texas got dropped down.
Texas and Penn State were 3rd and 4th ranked.
And you know what? The argument is certainly that shows you, well, that was kind of silly to do it that way. But the other way is we could end up having like 4 SEC teams ranked 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well,
I mean, is that the way are we going to go too
if they're
far
the
the
4
other
best
direction?
teams,
I guess.
Well, I mean, they'll say that they are.
It's up to the committee.
That's up to the committee, I guess. But the SEC did not have the year that they're used to having.
No, they saved it all for basketball.
Yeah, they saved it for basketball. But they didn't. It was a down year, I guess, for the SEC. And look, they didn't play well.
Penn State should not have been ranked below Boise State.
Correct.
They just shouldn't.
Correct.
Texas should not have.
I like the idea of a reseed. I think that's fun and makes it probably a little bit more fair.
Probably. I agree with that.
But we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out.
But all is one person disagrees and they can't change it. So,
all right, this next story is wild. I'm curious how you guys thought this would turn out. A production company, Real Extreme Fighting, is a MMA promotion company based out of Romania, and they put on a fight in which they had 12 men total in the octagon. Okay,
I saw this. This is insanity.
Professional fighters.
Yes.
2 MMA professionals going up against, they say, 10 amateurs.
So
I don't know if they just pulled 10 guys out of the crowd.
That's what I'm wondering.
They looked like fighters.
But an amateur fighter will still kick the crap out of anybody you know.
I mean, 10 volunteers. They didn't force anyone to do this. So
get your ass
you
in
have
that
to
ring.
at least be
they weren't
willing
like calling
to get
ticket
into
numbers.
a ring and take some swings. So.
Right.
If you're seated in section 7,
oh my God!
Come on down.
Oh my God! I didn't even wear my shorts.
And they did a 10-on-2, 10 amateurs versus 2 professional MMA fighters.
It's your
Who
biggest.
wins?
It's the biggest nightmare of all time. If you've ever been in one of those situations where a brawl kind of breaks out in your general vicinity, it's the most terrifying thing you can encounter. This, you're volunteering for it, and like everybody knows, those 2 guys know, I got 10 guys coming for me. They kick the crap out of the amateurs, though.
It was not really even close.
Right.
Couple of amateurs got a couple of digs, but like the very first guy that approaches one of the fighters gets kicked right in the side of the head.
Done.
This is that online question. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Kinda, yeah. It's the same.
100 duck-sized
horses. So you get they're like running around like they're horses. So they're not
kick the crap
they
out
can't
of
do
them.
much, but there's 100 of them.
It's
I mean, they could
panic.
They could start
horses. What would they do?
Kick you? They could kick
they're
you
little.
lightly.
Kick your
I mean,
shin.
like 40 of them are kicking you at the same time. It could get bad. Whereas a duck's pretty docile. I mean, it's just a duck, but they got that bill, and you make it horse-sized, and all of a sudden it's
a big-ass duck.
Scary.
I'd be
terrified.
Big
bro.
old duck.
It wouldn't even be the fight. It would be I would be terrified to see a duck that big.
I know. I think I'd go with the horses, but
Jake said, "Was this Reddit 2015?" I didn't know that was a Reddit question.
But in this case, the two regular-sized fighters.
The other thing
were better than the other 10
of course.
non-professional fighters.
The other thing it speaks to, obviously, is like, what could you do? What could a regular Joe do on a professional setting, right? Like, what could you do in professional sports? Could you make a putt in a PGA tournament? Yes. Could you hit a wedge in a PGA tournament? Right. Yes.
Golf's different, though. I mean, on any given hole.
Yeah, you can get a birdie. You
crummy,
can beat
crummy
Tiger
golfer
Woods.
can beat Tiger Woods.
Right, on one hole.
Well, the two fighters, the two professionals, they wiped the floor with the 10 amateurs. Do you think if it was 10-on-1, that changes?
10-on-1 changes.
I think
it
the two
does.
makes a difference.
10-on-1 can just
you can kind of back
them up
to each other,
Circle
like
them.
kind of.
You can't.
But with one, then they can come at you at all sides.
I still think if it was like 10 actual, not even amateur fighters, just 10 guys off the street, I'm taking the MMA fighter.
But if it's 10
But
amateur
10
fighters,
actual fighters,
I don't know
even
if those 10 did the 10 plan things out because it's in the chat. If you had really thought it out and did 5v1, okay, you 5 go over here.
They kind of tried to do that.
But the guy got
2, 3.
kicked in the face.
The professional fighters, they were just able to pick them off kind of one by one.
Gnarly.
And say everybody has a plan until you get kicked.
Until you get punched in the face. Yeah. Imagine being that tough.
All right, and then finally, just wrapping it up. Now, I don't know. There's no release date on this, but there is a new documentary coming out that we can all jump on board, I think. Is there anybody out there, does this guy exist, that didn't like, because he's no longer with us, Norm Macdonald? I mean, just everybody I know loved Norm Macdonald.
It feels like he's universally loved. I'll say this about Norm. I didn't appreciate Norm.
Don't think OJ was a big fan.
OJ was not a big fan, but OJ's also not with us anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate Norm until I got a little bit older. When I was younger and he was on, he didn't really do much for me. I didn't really get it. But that was the same. That's true of a lot of comedians for me. Like first time I saw Bill Hicks, I didn't get it. Once I got a little older and a little wiser, then I really got it. And with Norm, the humor, the delivery, all of that, it bugged me at first. It really did. And now, I mean, he's just revered. So I'm all in.
Norm Macdonald may have jumped into your stream of consciousness, especially over the last week with the SNL 50, all the celebrations that they did last weekend for SNL. And so there is a new Norm Macdonald documentary on the way. It's been approved, and it's being worked on by Judd Apatow,
Be great.
the famous comedian director. I know he's tight with Adam Sandler, who, of course, is tight with Norm Macdonald. Judd Apatow, I guess, posted on his Instagram account, like, hey, anybody and everybody that has any photos or videos of Norm, get them to me. I want to put this all together in a documentary.
It's not a biopic. They don't need an actor to play Norm.
Right. No, it's
going to be a documentary
So
on his
cool.
life and his career. It'll be coming out on Netflix whenever it is announced. But yeah, I mean, we lost Norm Macdonald 4 years ago almost.
That's crazy, man. Crazy.
Coming in number 2 on the Hot 40 charts, better than Ezra.
The best.
In the top spot,
Ezra. Oh, not this. This is my lucky stabbing cap. It's the greatest line of all time when he was talking about OJ. Oh, my God. He murdered. I mean, he just, probably wrong choice of words. He crushed OJ. Every single weekend update for however long that trial went. It was incredible. Just destroyed him. That'll be great.
Paulie, good job on the Reindl Report. And that
Thank
brings
you.
us to the end of another Ben and Woods. In fact, we only have one left this week. Friday Fun coming up tomorrow. We will see you at 6 a.m. Until then, for Paulie Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Annie and Elston coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody.